Reed, dude, thank
How you doing,
so
brother?
much, man. Thank
Yeah.
you, dude. Seriously, this for those of you that don't know, this was very spur of the moment.
Yeah.
Reed, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I genuinely mean that.
It was last night.
I know, literally, I was texting you last night, like, oh man, I've got a little extra time. Do you want to do a podcast? Because I happen to be in LA briefly, and I'm like, and I know you lived here, so I was like, dude, I'd love to sit down and interview. I've been following your content for a while.
Happy to make the time, brother.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I know you're probably on the grind out here. You're working every day.
Yes,
and
sir.
especially you're an actor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like legitimately an actor.
I'm trying.
That's a hard business to get into, man. It's probably
It is.
extremely competitive, especially in a place like LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. One of the unique advantages, though, is we have audiences,
Yeah.
right? And so that the industry is moving away from like mainstream and more towards individual projects, and also like the days of discovering a star, it's kind of disappearing, and studios want to hire people that already have a following so that when they release a project, they have guaranteed eyeballs.
No kidding.
And so it helped me skip a lot of doors, skip a lot of lines.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, I am so far disconnected from like Hollywood as far as like how the movie industry works or the film industry works.
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends that are actors, a lot of friends that are musicians, a lot of people that are in the entertainment industry, comedians, all kinds of stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't have any involvement in it myself, so I just don't know how it works, you know, and it's probably a lot different now than it was even like 5 years ago. Just
Oh yeah, it's the landscape is changing so much. I mean, well, COVID really expedited the change of the industry going out of Hollywood.
yeah.
And so a lot of productions are being filmed outside of America, but within America, outside of LA, within like Georgia, there's a lot of productions going on in Canada. So yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah,
pretty
Canada.
crazy.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one too. Wasn't one of the Hunger Games films filmed up there?
I think definitely the first one, right?
Yeah, I think I know they filmed some in Asheville in the for the first one because they're filming like I was working in the restaurant industry at the time, and they came to Asheville, North Carolina to like recruit extras to film like the wood scenes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was just like
Okay,
there.
I
A
didn't
bunch
know
of the
that.
extras were coming into the restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
But
But
I'm pretty sure
the industry is just it's definitely moving away from LA right now.
yeah, that's I've heard a lot of that too. I think they actually filmed some of the Last of Us series in Canada as well. I want to say, I believe, because I remember reading something about that a while back, which I love. I'm a huge video game fan, anime fan, movie fan, film fan. Yeah, obviously, like I'm definitely. I think the entertainment industry, like the storytelling, is really what it is storytelling, and storytelling's I think been a really big part of just human culture, probably since the dawn of civilization. I would say.
It's probably the most humane thing that there is.
Yeah.
We all revolve around stories.
Yeah.
You can tell you can give all the statistics that you want, but the things that really change people isn't a stat; it's the story behind the stat.
Yeah, because they want to know the story, like what happened
Yeah.
that led to that stat being a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you do a really good job with storytelling. I think that's potentially one of the things that's been aided in your success is you're really good at telling stories. I think a lot of content creators are good at telling stories that people like want to listen to, especially if you're talking about like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-minute, segments where you're like, especially in this day and age where everybody's like just looking for that.
Well, you're better
15-second
at the longer segments than I am. 'Cause
Well,
I definitely do more shorts.
I don't know, man. I'm not. I think it's different. Like I think my stuff can be maybe sometimes informative. That's kind of the point of my stuff, at least on my main channels. I'm kind of transitioning away from doing a lot of that. I'd like to lean more into podcasting because I like talking to people and I like getting to know people's story.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm very interested in people's story,
Uh-huh.
and it's easy for me to talk to people just because.
Are you leaning more towards like veteran stories?
I think that's one piece of the pie. I would say I like stories from people from all walks of life because everybody's got something that someone could benefit from.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they've served in the military or not. Obviously, I'm going to have an affinity for people that have served, just because that's been a large part of my story. Not the whole story, but it's been a significant part. It's had a pretty big impact on my character development, if you want to call it that. But I do think that, like the other day, for example, I flew up to Michigan to interview a young man who's working through a weight loss journey, and that's a story.
To join up, or
not to join up, just
okay.
because he's trying to, self improvement, and he's lost like 200 pounds in a year, he started off at 600, he's closer to 4 now, and that's a huge accomplishment, and that people need that type of encouragement, and that's just one small thing. That you think of how many people that could impact that may be struggling with weight, which has been a human problem for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of
pretty
stories.
big problem today too.
Yes, even today, and there's a lot of people that could benefit from that even if they don't have anything to do with the military. And that's just one example, but there's a lot of other ones that I've got planned as well with folks that have maybe encountered some sort of adversity in their life that they overcame, that people.
Well, how much of your military experience are you allowed to talk about?
I mean, I can talk about stuff that I've done, experiences I've had in the past, like without any real issue, because I've never, as long as you didn't do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical, like there's not a problem with it. I typically refrain from talking about myself as much, just because I don't really feel like I've done a lot, because I'm not like a combat veteran. I've never done anything crazy in my career. I served in the infantry for like 5 years, and then I lat moved and changed MOSs when I went through basically like an enlisted commissioning program. And then, so that kind of changed the trajectory of my career, my life, my lifestyle, my experiences, my perspectives. And then it also changed my responsibilities pretty significantly. But I tend to be more interested in what other people's stories are, just because I don't particularly think mine's that interesting, even though some other people may find it interesting, and maybe there'll be
I'm sure a lot of people would.
There may be a time where I open up more about it. I think it'll probably come with time, more than likely, just because like I tend to have more of an interest in hearing what other people have experienced and talking about my own. I don't know if that's because it's probably more so just because I don't really particularly feel like I've done much. And I don't feel like I'm all that significant. I just kind of work really hard. I've got a good work ethic. That's the one thing I think that does separate me.
Did you always have that?
I think probably. I think I probably always had a good work ethic. Just because, like, especially when it's something that like I want, I'll work for it. I'll earn it, the hard way. If I have to grind, work 18 hours a day every day for weeks and weeks to earn that thing. I mean, it took me 7 years to get into the military. 7 years, because I got in trouble when I was younger, and so it took me a long time to work through this stuff, waivers and all this stuff, and so I had to stick with it. Most people probably would have quit, because like 7 years is like, why would I keep? Most people would have like quit when they got denied the first time. And I originally was trying to get into the Army, funny enough, so I'm sure they're going to give me a bunch of crap for talking about that. But I got a lot of friends that are in every branch at this point. I mean,
why Army? Was there a specific program?
Well, I had a buddy who I lived with in Asheville for about
the X-ray.
X-ray? No. No. Well, my buddy I lived with, it's funny. I was, and people are going to also give me crap about this. I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch for a little bit when I was at.
You were a model?
Well, I wouldn't really.
You took your shirt off?
I wouldn't really call that. No, I just stocked clothes and shelves. And stuff. Okay. But I got the job there to just kind of meet people while I was finishing my associate's degree in college, but the 2-year community college up there. And
okay, so you went to college before you went in.
Yeah. I had an associate's degree before I joined, so that's maybe that probably helped me a little bit. Plus, I was 27 by the time I got in, so I was a little older. But still, I was still super immature. Probably, I'm still probably immature now. But I ended up living with a guy that got a job there who was an Army Ranger, and his name is Rory. If Rory sees this, I want him to know like he was one of my inspirations to even
start. Wait, tabbed or battalion?
I think
he had the scroll.
I don't know. I never knew enough about it back then to have the wherewithal to ask the questions that people would want to know. All I remember is that he was a Ranger, and I don't know if he was in Ranger Battalion or if he was just tabbed and was in an airborne unit or something. I'm not sure. I know he was in the 82nd at one point, and he was in like Operation Iraqi Freedom. He did a whole lot of stuff over there. Saw a lot of things. Yeah, he was there in like the early days, like 03, 04.
Heavies.
05 time frame. Yeah, like when stuff was kind of crazy. I never deployed to Iraq until after I first went to Iraq in 2023. long after everything was not, there's no more kinetic stuff going on. I mean,
There were like Starbucks.
yeah, there's like,
there's McDonald's.
there's a Starbucks. Yeah, there's a Starbucks. There's like McDonald's. Yeah. I spent just a 6 month stint in a place called Erbil, going back and forth from there to Syria, doing some stuff.
Well, how was it
around
in
there.
23?
I mean, it was, it was, I would say it was very similar to a lot of other deployments, but I did a lot more real stuff. There was probably more inherent risk involved in some of the things I was doing there than my other deployments, if you want to call them deployments, because, we would, in 3rd Marine Division, we would deploy to Okinawa for what people call a UDP, which is the Unit Deployment Program for the Marine Corps. And like that was all that 3rd Marine Division was really doing by the time I got to them. And so we would all get on a plane from Hawaii. We'd fly over to Okinawa. We would stay in the barracks, move into the barracks on like Camp Hansen or Schwab, and we would basically just train there, or we would shoot out to Korea or Camp Fuji or the Philippines or Thailand or Malaysia or Australia. I never got to go to Australia or Malaysia or the Philippines, but we did go to
Like Interforce training.
What's that?
A lot of training with other countries.
Training with other countries, yeah, like the Korean Marine Corps, for example. So we did.
Was there a high IED threat in Iraq at that time?
During the time that
23?
we were, in 23, no, I don't think so. I think
was it just nil?
Yeah, but we didn't really go off of base all that. We did a little bit of off base stuff with like local contractors for procurement and stuff like that, because we were doing a lot of logistics stuff when I was there. But there wasn't really like a significant threat off base in 2023. Nothing even remotely close to the way that it was like in the earlier days. Very, very different. I mean, we had air conditioned rooms. We had showers, bathrooms, like actual bathrooms and shower stalls. There was like chow halls set up all over the place. The base that I was staying on didn't have like a Starbucks, but they had these little coffee shops and a couple little restaurants and stuff like that. They had a couple PXs, or at least one or two small little PXs that you could get some stuff from if you needed like shaving stuff like that.
Was it still considered a combat zone?
It was, because you're receiving. The only reason it's considered a combat zone is because you're receiving imminent danger pay and hazardous duty pay. So I guess you could call it a combat deployment if you're receiving those, but we didn't experience any combat. I didn't personally, anyway. Some people might have. I wasn't personally connected with them though. But again, it was very chill, all things considered. Like some of the bases got hit while I was over there, not while I was on them though. It wasn't really crazy there during that year until after I left, because 2023.
Were you kind of hungry for like combat?
I would say when I was younger, yeah. I mean, when I first joined the infantry, like in 2014, I had an interest in,
Well, when you were in Iraq.
No, I didn't have any. I didn't care at that point anymore, because I mean, by that point, I'd already.
Were you already commissioned by then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was already like kind of past that. I want to experience this phase. Whereas when I joined the infantry, it's like most people join the infantry because they want to experience that.
Yeah, they want to get some.
They want to experience that, right? And I was there for 5 years, and we didn't.
You were in Iraq for 5 years?
No. I was in Hawaii in the infantry for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Iraq was just a 6-month thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
was very short. Yeah, definitely not 5 years there. No, but I kind of like at a later time, after it's been a few years out there, I was like, you know what? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's like, life is going to work. You don't get to choose where you deploy. You don't get to choose where, they send you or what your deployments look like. You kind of go where they tell you. And
how'd you meet your wife?
Instagram.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually.
You hit her up. She hit you.
She slid in my DMs.
What'd she
Instagram.
say?
I don't know. We were like having casual
oh my god,
banter.
you like Demon Slayer too?
Well, no, she's not. She's actually not a big anime fan. Funny enough, she's more of a like Real Housewives fan. That kind of stuff, Okay. She likes the same stuff most like women like, like the Real Housewives of this, that, and the other, like dating shows stuff.
Where's she from?
Baltimore.
I was just in Baltimore.
Were you?
Yeah, I did a Catholic pilgrimage there.
Did you really?
Yeah. First time I haven't had much exposure to the Catholic Church, and so I went to the pilgrimage with a lot of questions. That a lot of it was like them praying to Mary, them praying to the saints. I was just kind of iffy on it, so I didn't hold back when I asked the Catholic priest, like, "Hey, what's this? What's this about?" And then I left the pilgrimage with feeling comforted in the mutual salvation that I think both Protestants and Catholics have. But Baltimore, wow, that's one city. That is a city that it's not an easy city to live.
There's some rough parts.
Yeah.
Baltimore's a rough town if you don't know, if you go to the wrong spot, you know.
Like 80% of it.
Yeah, it can be kind of rough. So
Yeah.
you can imagine she's kind of a tough lady.
Yeah.
You know, growing up in a place like that.
No, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. She's
Roger's
a tough lady.
that.
Yeah, which is good though, because like I appreciate that about her. I would like I would say what you could refer to as a strong, independent woman, which I like because that what that does is it affords me. She's very supportive of me working a lot, you know, and she understands that I have a lot of work to do all the time. Because I mean, sometimes I'll be on my computer for 9 hours just working on stuff, you know, and you know, if I was with somebody that was maybe a little bit more codependent, for example, that would probably be a hard thing to do. That would cause some problems. You know, you have a lot of fights over that. And so she's been very supportive of me in my endeavors, and I try to be supportive of her. I mean, I just got her a setup so she can start recording videos too and content. And I've been showing her how to get her computer set up. I got her one of these microphones.
The Shure mics?
Yeah, some Shure mics. I got her some lighting. I got her a Rodecaster, some other stuff too. So
if that's not love, I don't know what love is.
well, that's what I was like I want her to be able to like do. She enjoys.
Are you a romantic man, Kagan?
I think so. Yeah, I do a really bad job of showing emotions because I'm like very like focused on a lot of things, and that's a real problem I have to work on. You know, and that's something that, you know.
I'm starting to get that.
Yeah, well, because
you got a laser focus.
Yeah, I try to be pretty laser focused on like goals. I set a lot of goals for myself. I have daily goals, you know, like minimum objectives that I need to achieve every day.
You have daily goals?
Yeah.
I have hourly goals. So.
Dude, hourly's tough. I don't know if I could do hourly.
I'd
hourly would be hard for me because I'd probably miss it constantly. I'd just get frustrated. But daily I can manage because it's like, okay, set like, hey, you know, you need to make 5 of these short videos every day. 5. That's your threshold. You need to meet that. If you don't meet that, then you can't go do anything else. Once you meet that, then you can go to the gym, then you can go to the grocery store, then you can cook dinner, and you can do this, that.
What's your main platform?
I would say that the YouTube is probably my main one.
Okay.
The one that I care about the most is probably the YouTube. And then I've got the Instagram, I've got TikTok. They're all about the same size. So
take me through a week. What does your filming, editing, your schedule look like? Time allotted.
I usually wake up because I still have to go to work like at a regular job. I wake up at like 4:30 every day. I shave, I eat breakfast, and then I go work from, usually I get up to the office at like 5, and I work from like 5 to 7:30, and then
5 to 7:30, 5 a.m. to 7:30.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Filming videos. Yeah.
Oh, wait. At work as well?
No, not at work. No, this is all just in my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm in my house. You know, I get up at 4:30 at the house. I cook.
That makes a lot
shave,
more sense.
Yeah,
okay.
I go up to my office in my house, and I work from 5, usually 5 until about 7:30.
So break up that 5 to 7:30 for me.
It's just usually making 5 short videos, and I schedule them to auto post throughout the day. And I usually make like one long form video that I can send off to an editing team.
Are you figuring out what the 5 videos are going to be that day?
Yep.
Or okay. So what does that brainstorming look like? How do you figure that out?
That's I usually start looking all over the internet to see what things are going on.
Okay, so just kind of scrolling on your phone,
maybe
or
look around
laptop.
breaking news stories. Maybe look around at like stories that may have happened even a couple days prior to that. I try to look around and see if there's certain things that might be interesting happening that people might not
how
know
long
about.
are your long form videos?
I mean, they vary. It could be anywhere from 8.5 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on what the subject is or like how much coverage there's been of that.
And you're doing this every day?
Every day.
Okay, so
yeah, most of the days during the weekdays it's a little shorter, unless I like pre-recorded some long form stuff on.
Are you posting a video every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Posting 5 shorts every day.
And then how many YouTube videos are you posting every day?
5 usually. 5 shorts and then 1 long form.
Okay. 5 shorts, 1 long form every day.
Every day.
Wow.
And that's just the main channels. That's not including the podcast channel or the video game channels, because I also stream in the evenings when I'm home.
Uh-huh.
Like and I'll usually like try to record some video gameplay, send that off to get edited, and then I'll usually have like 1 or 2 of those videos post per week on the video game channel.
Okay, so how do you add on the podcast then? If you're streaming in the evening, that makes sense.
Yeah, so the podcast just gets done whenever I go out of town, usually because I film at studios that I rent at different locations.
And how often are you releasing a podcast?
Once a week.
So
I have a lot of backlog that
Yeah.
I've recorded over the past like 7 months where I've gone out of town, and typically when I go out of town, I try to film like 5 or 6 if I can, if I have the ability. Sometimes it's only 2, you know. But if I get out of town, it's like I want to try to film some podcasts here and there.
Are you always delegating the editing
For
of
the
long
podcast,
form
yeah.
and podcasts?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I couldn't do that myself. There's no way I would have the time for it.
Who do you use?
Well, I tagged them on my long form, so if anybody wanted to see that, like the people that do my long form editing, it's
Are they
tagged in the
U.S. or
description.
outside of U.S.?
Outside the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of work involved, but bottom line is, like I was saying, is my wife's very supportive of a lot of the work that I do because I work a lot. Like it takes like a crap ton of time to even schedule stuff like that, you know. So it's like it's just a lot of work, and it all has to happen outside of working hours because when I'm actually at my actual job, like I have to be focused on what my actual job is
Yeah.
because that like the people I work with deserve that for me. And so that's what my focus is when I'm at work instead of like this stuff. All this stuff happens off working hours or on the weekend or very early in the morning before I go to work or after working hours and stuff like that. Or when I'm out of town, like right now. So it just takes a lot of,
How old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive, though.
Well, I
like
think
the
it's
work
just, you
ethic.
have like, you know, in this day and age, the internet is so oversaturated. The only way
Let's
that
saturate it some more.
it is so saturated, and it is a bottomless pit that is hungry for content and videos. And if you don't feed it every day, then it's going to find somebody else to feed off of.
Is there like one big project that you would like to eventually release? Whether it be like a
Yeah, not right now. I think like ultimately one day, like when I'm, you know, maybe just self-employed entirely, I would like to do, you know, I would like to do a lot more podcasting. Honestly, I think that's the thing.
You wanna go the
I
Jocko
enjoy
route?
most.
like self-published books.
No.
and then
I'm not trying to publish
make
books or anything like
movies.
that. I don't think that I'm somebody that people aspire to be like or want to know my stories or anything.
Not with that attitude.
Well, no, I just genuinely don't find myself that interesting to write a book about myself. I
Not
don't
with
think-
that attitude.
Maybe not. maybe with a different attitude. I think I enjoy talking to people, and that's like something I genuinely like to do. So
Yeah.
I think that that's the route that I would like to go because I think if you can find a way to make money doing that,
Then maybe
that would
like
be-
Joe Rogan
maybe
or Chris Williamson.
Joe Rogan. I think is probably one of my biggest inspirations.
North Stars. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as just like somebody that I genuinely, I've been listening to him.
You
for
do
like 6
jujitsu?
years. I don't do jujitsu. That's a big difference between me and him. I do work out on a very regular basis. I run, I lift.
What's your mile time?
Oh, it's probably terrible. I ran 3 miles the other day. It was probably around 20 minutes. Not great. Not the best. Not bad. I
At
guess.
39, that's great.
That's not bad yet. 39.
That's great.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
How much do you bench?
Oh God, I don't know how much I bench. Somebody else asked me this the other day. I think it might be like I think I repped 285 3 or 4 times the other day. But if I really wanted to do a one,
I did
rep
286 yesterday. So it's okay.
286?
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I don't really do my 1 rep maxes that much.
I
anymore.
never do it.
Yeah, I'm worried about injuries and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just trying to maintain where I'm at now. And so I try to usually, I still go pretty heavy. Like my brother and I both lift. My brother's a Marine too. So he
Older, younger?
Younger.
Okay.
Yeah. He also does content stuff, not the same way I do. He's more of just a streamer, like Twitch streaming and stuff like that. But great guy. We've become very close as we've gotten older. You know, just we both play video games. We've actually made a bunch of YouTube videos together for just video games, like for the video game.
Do y'all live close to each other?
No. He lives a couple states away from me, but he's
It'd be cool if y'all like started
like
filming
collabing
content.
more. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love that. I wouldn't be against living closer to him because it'd be just easier to have family close by. You know, but he's doing a lot more streaming stuff
Are you
than I
living
am.
where you are because of your wife?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah. So that was a difficult thing to figure out, like to getting the co-located piece, just because there's not there's only so many Coast Guard stations, and getting stationed with your spouse.
Oh,
Is
you're
difficult.
comfortable with saying, like, what branch she's in? And all
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She's in
And
the
your
Coast Guard.
branch, you're okay with saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know what to tread. So
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, so I mean, just like as far as Marine Corps bases and Coast Guard bases, it's like tough to find two that are close enough to each other that you can get orders to where there's jobs available for both of you at those locations. So that was a fight.
Well, you have the perfect job because you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, to a certain degree. Yeah, this job for sure you can do anywhere, no matter what, as your side job. But primary jobs is what I'm referring to, I guess. But so
that's pretty lucky then.
yeah, we got pretty fortunate.
Yeah,
because we got co-located the first time.
But how long have you been commissioned?
2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
got
2021. But yeah. So anyway, it was a challenge getting co-located, but we finally managed to work it out, and now we can live under the same roof, which has been helpful because it was a struggle for her. She was driving a lot on the weekends to come home from where she was at before, and that was a lot of added stress on her, added stress on me because she was stressed out. And we still spend a fair amount of time apart because of like the type of work that she does currently right now. So she has to do a lot of traveling. But she also gets to spend a decent amount of time home too, so that's good. But so I want to get more into your story a little bit because that's kind of part of the things I was interested in. Is like,
but I did that for your audience.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I don't really, like I said, I don't really share a lot with my audience.
The clip where we're talking about what you do in a week.
Yeah,
that should be its own YouTube clip.
It might, maybe. I mean, maybe editing team, maybe they'll figure something out, put something
together
for it. But anyway, so where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in California.
So you were born in California?
Yeah.
Near LA?
Yeah, in LA. Yeah.
Okay.
But as a kid, I moved over to Georgia.
Okay. What brought you to Georgia?
My father, he was a pastor. So
His father was a pastor?
Church planting. Yeah.
No
so
kidding.
anytime I moved, it was because of my father.
What kind of a pastor?
A good pastor.
I'm
just kidding.
What
I'm just
denomination is
kidding. Baptist.
He was a Baptist?
Baptist.
How was that?
Oh, that's how it sounds.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Baptists it's a very different denomination from a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, I had a difficult upbringing, to say it. Like I talk more in depth on Lila Rose's podcast, and I think I talked about it on Michael Knowles' show just a little bit. But physical abuse, all of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Stemming from the father?
Father mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was very hard on you, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of typical of Asian households, to be honest. It's not very unheard of, especially for Koreans. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No
Korean men have a temper.
Do they really?
Yeah, my father was not spared from that.
I've heard that about.
And he was a ROK.
He was.
As was my
So
grandfather.
he's a rock Marine?
Yeah. My grandfather was a full bird colonel in the ROK.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
Commission class 3.
Wow.
The third class of officers
The third
ever.
class of officers ever of the Rock
003.
Marines. Wow.
Yeah.
Was he alive when you were born?
My grandfather?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was like, he's the best man I've ever known. Like,
You got to have some conversations with him?
yeah.
What kind of things did you talk to him about?
Funny enough, he was a very stoic man. Like, one of the things that he told me, well, I asked him why he was so quiet all the time, and in Korean he would say, "Men aren't supposed to talk." He was like, he was really cool, and
Wow.
he just, the most we ever talked was after I got out of the military.
Yeah.
Or maybe we first started talking the most when I first was about to go in, and then after I got out. And that's when we had that shared rapport, even though I didn't do anything in the military, I got medically separated and all that. He then started telling me about all those stories. The reason why the Korean military has an MP is because he started it.
Really? Like military police?
Yeah.
He started the military police?
He started the MP.
No kidding.
Well, in Korea.
Yeah, in Korea.
Obviously, he saw it from American MPs, and then was like, okay, we need that.
Yeah.
And so he gathered like 5 dudes that he thought were like tough, and then beat them more into shape. And then we're like, all right, we're going to be the first MPs. And then created he is the reason why Korea has MPs.
No kidding.
It started it. Yeah.
That's
he was a rock star. Yeah.
That's good. You know what's funny is I did an Incheon landing reenactment over there.
Really?
Yeah, with Rock Marines.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was fortunate my first deployment, my first UDP to Okinawa, we went to Korea for what's called a KMEP, which is essentially just like a joint exercise where, you know, you've got one infantry battalion that goes over there and trains with the Korean Marine Corps. And we, you know, lived with the Rock Marines. We trained with them, did a whole bunch of stuff. We actually went to a place called, well, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It might be Gunghwa Do or Gunghwa Ri or something. We did some training over at Rodriguez Story Live Fire as well over there, which people, if they've been there, they'll know. It's like they have a huge battalion assault course kind of thing that you can do where you have like, we had our entire battalion do an attack with the Korean, with a Korean battalion partner force. And we did a big attack on a battalion objective. But,
live rounds?
Yeah, live rounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was in the combined anti-armor team. So I was in like a mounted infantry platoon at the time. And so I was kind of separate from a lot of the real action where like the guys were all dismounted, you know, buddy rushing and stuff. But we could hear the gunshots and stuff like that. But before we got to that point, we were training with them up doing ranger training with them, like with all the red hats and stuff like that. And basically they have like a ranger training facility out there where you're like doing a bunch of like,
do Koreans call them rangers?
I think so.
Oh,
I think I think it was called the Korean
I'm super
Ranger.
unfamiliar with Korean military. Like I just know a couple of the teams. You know? Yeah.
I think it's called the Korean Ranger Training Facility, I believe. Cool. And basically the big thing that we did over there was mostly just physical fitness related stuff and rappelling and like confidence building stuff. Like that was the entire time. The entire time we were at that spot was all about rappelling and confidence building. And there was no live fire. We did some ground fighting a couple times. We did some martial arts training with them. Some
taekwondo.
I think it was martial arts training. It might have been, or maybe it was just like we did some ground fighting, and they were teaching us like their type of PT, like how they did PT.
How was it different with like American?
Very well. And see, the thing is that the thing I look at is like the way that they're going to show us how they PT is probably different than how they do day-to-day PT. Like,
oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder.
The way that right, exactly. Like the way that we PT,
there's no doubt.
Like the way we PT day to day is going to be different than when we're like, hey, we're going to do form for PT with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
you gotta show up a little.
We want to be like, hey, look how disciplined we are and stuff. Even though, I mean, we are still disciplined, but it's just done differently. It's a little bit more. I guess
you like Korean food.
Yeah, you know what's funny is the Korean Marines actually made us a gallon freezer bag full of kimchi, gave it to us, and actually the whole time we were staying on the Korean warship, while we were staying on some Korean warships that we had given to them back in the day that we were doing the Incheon landing reenactment from, and every day they served us hot meals, like hot Korean meals.
Yeah,
and we had like there's like pancakes that had like
kimchi in it.
There was like some sort of greenage in there inside of the pancakes. It was very interesting. It was all very good. It tasted really good.
Yeah.
But that was a really cool experience, like getting to work that closely for about a year, or not a year. Sorry, it's about a week. I would say about a week, maybe 10 days, where we were doing the reenactment, and we would just like do drills every day. And then when we weren't doing the actual dry runs or whatever, we were either eating or working out or playing cards or whatever.
Yeah.
At the time, it's funny. I had a laptop that I brought with me and a hard drive, and I was watching like Game of Thrones, you know, because like there's like 4 or 5 seasons out already by the time I got out there, and I'd never watched the show before, and I'd kept hearing everybody was like, dude, it's so good. You need to watch it. And this is 2015, by the way. So it's like, okay, well, I
haven't finished it, so
it's good. It's a good series.
I heard it's great. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, super entertaining. I love the characters, great character development, plot, all that stuff. George R.R. Martin did a really good job. And then I don't know if you play video games and all, but he also made the Elden Ring game, which is
I didn't know he made that.
Well, he was like the story mind behind the plot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very popular series.
Yeah, super popular. And there's like a kind of like Dark Souls. If people like Dark Souls,
you ever play D&D?
Yeah, I played D&D when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was much younger. played a little bit. It's hard for me now because I just don't have the time or the patience for it anymore.
Oh, really?
But I did play a lot of Magic the
So
Gathering
much fun.
too. Did you ever play Magic the
I've
Gathering?
never played Magic the
It's
Gathering.
like a card game.
No, I know. I used to buy it.
It's kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I played Pokemon
or Yu-Gi-Oh.
too.
Yeah.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I played Pokemon and I played Magic.
You actually played Pokemon?
Yeah.
The
I
card?
actually played the card game.
I just
Pokemon.
collected them.
I collected them too. But man, I'm so pissed. I kick myself every day because I don't know what happened to all my cards. And I know for a fact I had multiple sheets of Charizards, Blastoises, Venusaurs, all that stuff in sleeves, like inside of like, you know, a 3-ring binder.
Yeah.
And it vanished off off of the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I might have been an idiot and sold it or something like that.
You made
to
someone
a card
else's
shop.
day. So
Maybe.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. I'm super butthurt about that, but I managed to not sell my Magic cards the same way that I did with my Pokemon cards. But you know, we played. I used to play Pokemon in Books a Million. I don't know if you know what Books a Million is.
Oh wow, I haven't heard Books a Million in so long. I used to go to a Books a Million when I lived in Duluth in Atlanta. I used to go there all the time.
Yeah. They had like Pokemon tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could go play. Same thing with Magic the Gathering. They'd have Magic tournaments and stuff like that.
Do you ever wait? Do you speak another language?
I don't. The only language I learned a little bit of Spanish just because I had to take all these foreign language courses in school. I remember very little because I don't practice it on a day-to-day basis. You really, I mean, like if you don't speak a language for a period of time, you're gonna forget.
You're gonna lose it.
Yeah, you're gonna lose it, man. It's like it is a full-time gig. I think the best way to learn a foreign language personally is if you move to another country that doesn't speak your language in person, and you have to figure it out because that's how you're gonna feed yourself.
Or you date someone that doesn't speak English.
Or that would probably work too because you want to communicate with them. You're gonna be.
Because if you live in that country, you still have to force yourself to go out and interact with people. But then you might just learn the 5 phrases that you need to get around.
Yeah.
But then you date someone that doesn't speak the language. I mean, there's a whole legion of words that you're going to have to memorize.
Yeah, you're going to have to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. I will say that you know what's funny? Speaking about foreign languages, my brother is getting ready to do a trip to Japan pretty soon with his girlfriend. He's a big fan of Japanese anime like myself.
Does he speak Japanese?
He's been learning Japanese.
Okay.
He's been literally practicing, like he's been listening to Japanese podcasts.
Oh, wow.
While working out.
That's good.
Like just listening to it constantly.
Does he understand what he's listening to?
I think he's starting to gain like some rudimentary comprehension. Yeah. So that way he'll be able to communicate at least a little bit, like at an elementary grade school level, probably.
Yeah. The experience of someone traveling to Japan that doesn't know Japanese and that does know Japanese, it's like you're traveling to 2 different places.
I imagine.
Yeah. You get treated better.
I bet. Because they're like, oh, you actually gave a damn enough to learn how to speak
our language. Of people, if you don't speak Japanese, they just won't bother. And they're like, oh, sorry, no.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
yeah.
That's what you hear. That. Oh, sorry, no. And then literally, you're not allowed to enter the establishment.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know what's the one thing I think is interesting about Korea is everybody spoke English.
Really?
Everybody spoke English that I met.
I didn't know
I went to a big movie. You ever heard of Latte World?
Lotte.
Yeah. See, I probably screwed it.
No, it's all right.
Lotte World.
Yeah, Latte World is a coffee.
It's a coffee shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
We went to Lotte Mall, like the big, huge mall.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest conglomerates in Korea.
Yeah.
Lotte. Yep.
We watched that movie, The Martian, in the IMAX theater.
With Matt Damon.
With Matt Damon. When it came out.
You kind of look like Matt Damon.
I don't know.
Do you get that?
I don't think I've ever had. Well, maybe. I might have had somebody. If you've said it, or if you're saying it now, somebody else has guaranteed said it before. I probably just forgot.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know I've had other people say I look like some other folks that they've seen too, but.
You look like a mix of Matt Damon and Christian Bale.
Christian
Bale? You have Christian Bale's like intense eyes, and then the general shape of Matt Damon's head.
The general shape of Matt Damon's head. Okay, that's fair. They're both. I would say they're both handsome.
Oh yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's definitely not an insult.
Yeah. No, I'll take it for sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the time we had out there, and the movie was good. I enjoyed The Martian too. It was fun. It's a fun movie. It's just something fun. I like science fiction kind of stuff, and that's like a fun movie. And I think we went out to the Hard Rock Cafe, just because we're like, we want a burger, right? We're in a foreign country. Why not eat an American
Don't get
food?
a burger in Japan.
Stupid, I know. It's stupid.
Are burgers good in Korea?
Yeah, in Korea. They got the burger in Korea.
They're good?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. At the Hard Rock Cafe.
Burgers in Japan are not it.
I've never tried getting
or
a
at least
burger
the
in Japan.
American burgers. If you get a Japanese burger, it's good. But there's like American style restaurants in Japan.
Oh,
They'll
really?
try to give you an American burger, and it's just lackluster.
It's not the same thing.
It's not good.
I've never had a burger in Japan, I don't think, unless I had it on like a base or something like that. But I love.
You know, the
Japanese food.
Okinawan dialect is like, I speak fluent Japanese.
Really?
I don't understand a single thing that they're saying.
Very
It's
different.
that different. It's
No kidding.
It's a different language.
It's a very different culture
Oh yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I mean, like the Japanese.
a lot more free.
Yeah, the Japanese back in the day actually confiscated the Okinawan swords. I
Yeah.
believe.
Well, I mean, it was
It's a very different time.
it was a territory of Japan long enough that it just became part of Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very different. They have different cultures as a result of just like the way that the cultures kind of adapted and grew over time. But mainland Japan is very different from Okinawa. That's 100% spot on. And the people are different. And I would imagine that the way that Okinawans view Americans is probably going to be very different than the way that mainland Japanese view Americans as well. Partially just because there's like military bases all over Okinawa. And we've done a lot of stupid crap.
It's
out
love or
there.
hate, right?
It's
In
like a love-hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's partially because we have some young Americans that go over there. That's their first time not
Marines.
living at home. Marines, sailors, airmen, whatever, soldiers. There's literally every branch is out there. I think even the Coast Guard's out there, surprisingly.
Really?
And, yeah, I think so. believe my
How
wife
does
was
that
telling
work?
me, I think. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know. They go out of country too, but
I did not know that.
yeah, I think she was telling
I
me
thought
that.
it was just kind of our coast that they're
That's what I
guarding.
thought too, but there's actually Coast
Is-
Guardians that go in
The Coast
across-
Guardians.
Guardians. I don't.
I
Maybe
love
I
that.
might be messing that up. I'm not
Is that
sure.
is that their
I
so
think-
they're seamen,
well, Siemens
soldiers,
maybe.
there's marine, and then they're guardians.
I don't know. I
'Cause
think I might be
that's an
wrong.
awesome term.
I might be wrong. I know for a
I'm a
fact the
guardian.
Space Force calls their personnel guardians.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty positive of that.
No.
But the Coast Guard, they might just call them Coast Guardsmen. I'm probably
Well, Air
totally
Force,
off.
what is it? Just sitters?
airmen.
Oh, I'm just joking. It was a joke.
I think it's sitters, sitters, desk sitters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got plenty of friends in the Air Force. I'm sure they're all going to give me crap, but we actually spent some time in Korea at Osan Air Force Base, actually, surprisingly enough, and they had a really nice dining facility over there. We enjoyed
Yeah.
pretty good food after eating like what we normally eat in the field, and it's like we got upgraded. It's like going to the Ritz-Carlton almost for us, It was
Yeah.
like night and day. But the in any case, back to the fact a lot of people spoke English in Korea. I was very surprised at that because I was like, they don't have any reason to. I mean, I guess maybe, English is like I've heard some people refer to English as being the language of money. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
That's
But
probably true.
I don't know. I've heard people say that, but
I think they say the language of business.
maybe that's probably a more
Yeah.
accurate, appropriate term is
Yeah.
the language of business because people want to be able to do business with
So
Americans.
the interesting thing is Korea and Japan, they're so close to each other, right? And they
Yeah.
both teach English to their in school.
Yeah.
But Japan's education for English is so horrid
Really?
that most people in Japan, even though they spent their entire childhood learning English, can't speak a lick of it.
No kidding.
Whereas Korea, their English education is much better.
I was impressed.
yeah.
I was like, holy cow, this, like, everybody here in the entire movie theater knew how to speak better English than most.
I didn't know it
Americans.
was that good. I haven't been to Korea in over a decade, so I didn't know it was that good.
Yeah.
But I remember-
I haven't been in a decade either, actually.
Well, okay. I
Surprisingly.
remember I was sitting in a train in Japan, and a high school student right next to me was doing their English homework, right?
Yeah,
and I
train?
was just looking over, and I was like, "Wow, that's all wrong." Like every
Wow, that's all terrible.
Yes.
He doesn't know how
yeah,
to do.
I mean, even the textbook was wrong. But like what I was reading, I was like, "That's grammatically incorrect."
When was this?
A couple years ago,
A couple years ago? What were you out in Japan for?
I was just I've been to Japan more times than I can count. Just
No
for
kidding.
traveling. Yeah.
So you enjoy going to
I love
there?
going to Japan. Like whenever I have a chance to get out of state or get out of country,
Yeah.
I usually go to Japan.
I really want to go back because honestly, I didn't get to see nearly as much as I have a really deep appreciation and love for the culture and the history over there because it is such an ancient culture, and like the architecture, the traditions, the customs, the art. I mean, everything about it is fascinating, and I am enamored with it.
One of the things that I admire Japanese culture and sort of breaks my heart about Korean culture is you kind of touched on it. When Japan and Korea westernized, Japan was able to keep its core Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Like, we'll westernize, but we'll make sure that we stay Japanese. Whereas Korea, it lost a lot of its its core Korean culture. It's still there. You can don't get me wrong, but Japan did a much better job at keeping its cultural purity during the late 19th and early 20th century. There were a whole bunch of scholars in Japan that were trying to do away with Japanese culture, saying that it was inferior. Let's adopt Western culture, and you would see these Japanese scholars adopting Oxford garb. Like with the top hats and all, the three-piece suits.
Is that like the 1800s or something where that started happening?
Late 1800s and early 1900s.
Yeah.
But there was a huge pushback against it. It's like, no, we have to keep our Japanese culture to the point where you have terms like akamatsu theory, where the idea that Japan would lead Asia in westernization, but also technological advancement. Like, the idea is that, okay, like, Japan will get the car so we can give the bicycle to Korea, and then when Japan gets the plane, we'll give the car to Korea, and Korea can give the bicycle to China, and all this type of
China
stuff.
goes last.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like it's not like animosity, but it's like there's
it's animosity for sure.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, there's definitely like a friction between like
You want to talk
Japan,
politics?
China, and Korea. Well, Japan, China, and Korea, like they have a very interesting dynamic with each other because there's so much history there. I mean,
honestly, it's like three competitive brothers.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I think didn't people emigrate to Japan originally from China, and that's like
Oh, you're gonna piss off a lot of people.
Isn't that where that?
You're gonna piss off a lot.
Is that not true?
People. It's
it's kind of true.
Oh, it's definitely true.
But a lot of people don't want to admit that.
It.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like a scholar on that. I don't know. That
like
was
my
a guess.
aunt will say, like, yeah, Japanese, like Japanese are originally Koreans. And but then I always go like, yeah, but we're originally Chinese. And she's like, shut up.
Well, I like to look at it like,
hey, you don't say that.
Yeah, you don't say that. Yeah, it's unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, Americans, we want to like be this unique thing as well. And it's like, well, we're really an assimilation of all these cultures. A lot of other countries are an assimilation of a lot of different cultures as well, like Japan, China, Korea, because people moved there from all over the world way, way back in the day. And then all these cultures intermingled. They all had kids together, and they kind of changed over time. And then they kind of found a new national identity when democracy was invented and all this other stuff. And it's changed a lot, but I still think that the culture of Japan.
Wait, what's your ethnic
out.
makeup?
I'm a lot of things. So, my mom's side of the family's from Germany, and they actually left
huge Germanic features.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, one of my grandfathers was Cuban, like full on Cuban.
Do you smoke cigars?
Yeah, I smoke cigars. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I smoke cigars. So he was full on Cuban, and he actually married and had a child, which was my mom, with a German woman who literally emigrated from Germany
Cuba
to New York City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she fled along with the rest of her family, fled Germany when the Russians were invading in World War II because they heard all the things that the Russians were doing to the German citizens as they were coming back in, because obviously there was a lot of animosity for the siege of Leningrad and all these other things that they had done, and like the Operation Barbarossa and all that stuff out there. Like, obviously there was a lot of deep-seated hatred for the German people from the Russians after that. And so the Russians were coming in and they were doing some barbaric stuff, and they started hearing about that, and they're like, okay, they were like
like kind of like a German like aristocratic family. They had a maid and a butler and all this
That's
stuff.
cool.
They were pretty well off. All
Yeah.
that money's gone, of course. I never saw any of that. Neither
Yeah.
did my mom.
But
But
you have a little bit of blue blood in there.
blue blood?
Yeah. You never heard of this phrase? I have blue
No.
blood in me.
No,
It's
it's blue blood.
nobles.
Huh?
Nobles?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say nobles. I don't know. I'm
Well, you said
definitely a mutt.
aristocracy.
Well, the reason I said aristocracy is because that's the way it was described to me, but I don't think that they were in any way, shape, or form related to any politicians or kings or queens or anything. They were a well-off, like well-to-do German family.
Okay.
I think is probably a better description. And what they did was when they found out the Russians were coming in, they buried all of their expensive silver and china out in the yard, and then they left
In Germany.
And the area that they actually were living in Germany, I think at the time it was Germany. I think now it's like the Czech Republic or something. It's not even Germany anymore because like all that stuff
Did
got
they ever
divvied
dig
up.
it back up?
No. There's apparently, the way the story goes is allegedly there's an airfield over where their home used to be. Allegedly.
So
That's
it
the
definitely
story.
got digged up.
Probably. It probably
Or
got
blown
dug up
up.
or blown up or destroyed when there were bulldozers going over it or
They
something.
probably didn't dig that deep.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
They probably. I doubt they had that
An
much time.
An aristocratic family, I don't think they're digging.
Probably
very
not. They're probably not digging a deep.
They probably
a
got
deep
like
thing.
6 inches. Like, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Let's toss it in there. Yeah.
Nice. Hey,
Yeah.
I believe I've done enough work.
I think that's enough. I'm starting to
Oh
get
no, they were
blisters on
German.
my
Like, yeah,
hands.
that wasn't deep enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Or however their accent was. I'm not sure, but.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
But they. It was interesting.
So
'cause
they were for the party though, right? Because they were rich.
No. Actually, surprisingly, they were not. I'll
Oh.
tell you a quick story about that. Actually, is my I think it was my great uncle. It was either my great uncle or my great grandfather. No, I think it was my great uncle. Yeah, because the story is my grandfather, who is my great grandfather, who is my grandmother's father, and like his brother they both served in the German Federal Army during World War I. And so they both, were in the actual Federal Army when Kaiser Wilhelm was the leader of the country. And
As commissioned officers.
I don't know. I think one of them might have been a commissioned officer. One of them was.
Well, you
for
said
sure,
aristocracy, so I'm just assuming.
I would
they
assume
have
they're
a
probably
commission.
they might have been a commissioned officer. I think one of them was a judge advocate, and one of them was in the infantry, I believe. But the judge advocate, the story that I've been told, and again, a lot of this is speculative because I've never met any of that side of my family, and we've never been in contact with them ever since my grandmother emigrated to the United States. That whole side of the family got cut off. I've probably got relatives over there I don't know exist, and they probably don't know I exist. So that's kind of an unfortunate circumstance. It's as a result, a side effect of war. Families get split up and you lose contact with people. But the story I was told when I was younger was that apparently Hitler personally asked, I think, my great grand uncle to be a military tribunal judge. And the story I was told was that he turned him down, and because he didn't want to be associated with the Nazi Socialist Party. He turned him down, and the story goes that he eventually received orders, down the road sometime in the future, maybe a short time in the future, to travel to a certain location, and he ended up driving through a minefield and blowing up. Yeah, that's the story that they told me. I don't know how. Again, this is like stuff that's been passed down from generation to generation, so I don't know.
That was so out of left field.
I know. Wow. But
why did he drive into a minefield?
Well, because
was it like, hey,
I think they told him to go drive somewhere, and it just happened to be that a minefield was in his path because he said no to Hitler.
Yeah.
Because they didn't like for example, my great grandmother refused to allow her children to be part of the Hitler Youth because they didn't want them participating in any of that. They didn't want to be a part of that. A lot of German citizens didn't want to be a part of that stuff, but they just didn't talk to anybody about it. They had to be quiet because, like, obviously if you were open about not being for the party, you would get taken away by the brown shirts or whatever. So they just were like, no, you're not going to do that stuff. And then most of the family, if they were in the federal military at one point, they were like, we're not, we don't want anything to do with like the regime. Like, we'll be in the federal military, and then that's it. So that was kind of the story that I was told when I was a kid. I don't know. I mean, there's no way for me to validate any of that stuff. It's all just based on stories from what I've been told. And that's it, you know? So whether or not that's true, who knows? I don't know any of that family. I think my mom might have contact with some of her cousins that might have contact with some people over there. But I know one of my aunts in Germany, like one of my great aunts in Germany, that was like my mother's mom's sister, like was an artist and like painted and stuff like that. But that's about the extent of that I know about that side of the family, because most of that side of the family is gone. I don't have any contact with them. And then my dad's side of the family, half of them came to America and settled in Boston in like the 1700s, like before the country was founded. And then the other half came from Scotland during the 1800s during the potato famine. So they were all like really hardworking, you know,
Good dudes.
good. Yeah. Just hardworking Christian guys that were just
Where'd you find your faith? What's your denomination?
I'm an Episcopal.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just because I grew up in the Episcopal Church. I would say that's just what I call myself now. I'm not super active in it. I still believe. I still have faith. I don't really talk about it as much.
Episcopal and Anglican are the same thing, right?
So Episcopal is like Martin Luther. I think it started from Martin Luther, the Episcopal Church, I want to say. It's very much like the Catholic Church, but a lot more relaxed.
It's very similar with Anglican.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, because we still they say the Nicene Creed. They say all the same. They do it. The services are almost identical, because I've been to Catholic services too, because I have a lot of friends that are Catholics. Very similar services. There's a few differences in certain words and verbiage, but it's very similar.
Do you pray to Mary?
No.
Do you pray to a saint?
No.
Okay, so it's like Anglican then.
Yeah.
Anglicans, they don't pray to Mary or saints.
Yeah. So it's a little bit. That's why.
But high reverence inside this.
Oh,
church
for sure, high
services.
reverence. Yeah. Definitely, there's significances. My mom's actually an Episcopal priest. I don't know if I told you that.
Wow.
Yeah. She's been a priest.
Wait, how does
for a
that
while.
work? So they allow female priests?
Yep, in the Episcopal Church they do.
Interesting.
Yeah, very different. She became, so there's like a process to
cool.
it. You have to get a master's degree to become an Episcopal priest. She went to a seminary. I think
it's like that for most.
Is it? You have to go to a seminary for all of them?
It's you always getting either an MDiv, a master's in divinity, or
that's what she got.
Master's in theology.
Yeah,
it's always going to be a master's though.
She got an MDiv. Yeah. Funny enough, actually, funny story about that. She went to Virginia Theological Seminary, like back when I was in high school or middle school or something like that. Middle school. I was in middle school at the time, and she had a professor that used to be a Catholic, and when he was a Catholic, he actually was a licensed exorcist.
Cool. That's
literally.
Sick.
And he told the class some stories of things that he saw when he was teaching the class. He said, I have seen people levitate. I've heard people speak languages that they couldn't possibly comprehend or understand.
That's cool.
You know, he told them some pretty spooky stories. And that's why I was watching The Conjuring, the most recent Conjuring movie on the way in here on the plane. And
are they any good?
It was pretty good, yeah. I like the main dude actor. I can't remember his name. He's great. I've been a fan of the Conjuring movies. I know some people might look at him like
so. Like, I haven't seen any of them.
Really?
What's like the prime? Is it just the same family getting haunted by the same ghost?
So it's typically, I think it's like other families.
Or they just have the worst luck and keep going to haunted places.
I think it's like other families that are being haunted for most of them, and it's because of like certain objects.
But they said the same guys in all of it.
Well, the same guy and his wife are like spiritual. I think they're like occultist people that would go to these families to try to help them through whatever means they could.
But they just
manifest.
suck at it.
Well, they always end up. It's always like a happy ending. Like they always end up helping the family, and they get rid of whatever apparition or apparitions or demon or whatever it is. And there's like always like a big process leading up to that, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens. But it's got a pretty good story building aspect to it. Like because of the fact that I have some semblance of faith, I see these things and I'm like, this is why I won't ever mess with that stuff or mess with Ouija boards or none of that. Nope, I'm good. If I see somebody break out a Ouija board, I'm like, deuces, I'm out, dude. Not messing with that stuff. I don't mess with the occult. No, because like,
Well,
I do believe that there's evil out there,
Yeah,
and there are spirits out there. I don't know to what degree.
Have you
I
ever
don't
had an
want to know.
experience?
No, I don't think I've ever had an experience thus far, knock on wood, but I have had sleep paralysis moments where it felt very real. Like I remember waking up in a bed.
Be
at one
crazy if
point.
something happened right now.
Oh, that'd be nuts. Like right now, yeah. But yeah, no, I've had like this sleep paralysis thing happen where I like opened my eyes and like I couldn't move, but I looked off in the dark corner of the room and it looks like there's a figure cloaked in shadow just like staring at me and stuff. And then like I refused to sleep in that bedroom ever again after that. And it wasn't in my own house, so I was like, that was fine. But you know, there's a lot of weird stuff out there, and I just don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
I definitely don't deny that there's stuff out there. I don't have any facts or evidence to back that up, but I'm not going to mess with it because I feel like there's definitely places out there that are specifically maybe a little bit more saturated with, you know, essence or spirits, maybe that experienced some traumatic event before they passed away or something and they have unfinished business. You know, it's like I'm not going to go to a real haunted place or a place that used to be like I'm not going to go to a cemetery at night. I'm not going to go to an abandoned hospital. I'm not going to like go to haunted places, dude. I'm good. I'm all set. Like I'll leave that to the YouTubers that do that stuff. They can go. I'll watch it on YouTube. That's cool, you know, from the safety and sanctity of my own house, you know. But I'm not trying to go out there and put myself out in a position where I could get possessed or some weird crazy stuff. I don't.
A lot of crazy stuff out there.
Yeah, I'm not messing with it. But anyway, back. I know it's easy to get sidetracked, but you grew up in Georgia. How long were you in Georgia for?
I did all my elementary school there.
Okay, and then when did you go to middle school?
New York.
New York.
Queens.
In Queens.
Yeah.
And how long were you in New York for?
Middle school.
Just middle school.
Yeah.
And then you moved again?
Back to California.
Was that going with your dad to these different places?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay, so why was he moving so frequently?
That's a good question. I don't have all the details because I was a kid, so he didn't really tell me everything, right?
Yeah.
But in Georgia, he was a senior pastor at a church. I think he took over a church. I don't know if he planted it, right?
Okay.
But then that church kind of died, and then he got hired as an assistant pastor at a church up in New York. I still remember the acronym, but I don't think I should say it.
That's okay.
And then
I don't think I should say it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And then because there was a lot of drama at that church.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was crazy.
I'm not. It's okay. Yeah.
And then he left that church, and it wasn't drama that he caused. It was just there was just
Pre-existing drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
there was a reason why they needed help.
Yeah.
But then he moved back to California and then planted his own church. And
in California.
Yeah.
In LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where he's been today.
Is he still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I'm trying to be respectful. Like he's like, hey.
Unless you know something I don't.
Well, you know, some people are more sensitive about certain things, so try to be empathetic and sensitive to that, I guess, if I can. Yeah. So do you still talk to him?
No.
Not really.
No.
Do you think that was after? Did you kind of like have a separation after you got out of high school, or?
Yeah, we had a couple, but the two biggest ones was when I was 17 and when I was I want to say 24, 25. At 17 I got kicked out, but then
Got kicked out?
I got kicked out a lot when I was a kid.
Was it because of something that you did or something that he did, or
It's
mixture?
both. You know, sometimes it was for no reason, sometimes it was for a very good reason.
Okay.
You know, but again, my father had a temper,
Yeah.
and I was either getting kicked out or I was getting beat, or a combination of both.
Okay.
You know. Anyways, so got kicked out for the last time at 17, and then
Where'd you go when you got kicked out?
I slept in parks.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Until I got access to my bank account. So he ever since I was a kid, I just saved up whatever cash I got from like my grandparents or for my birthdays and stuff like that. And so by the time I got kicked out, I had around like $3,000.
Yeah.
But I didn't have access to it right away. So it took about 2 months for me to get access to that money. And so for the first month, I was staying at like friends' places and stuff like that. But then I pretty much exhausted my stay at all those. And then so I had to resort to sleeping at parks. Funny enough, I like to go to that park every now and again. And I live pretty close by to it, just to kind of remember and like reflect.
See how far you've come.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty significant difference from like where your life is right now.
Yeah. And it's like that. I don't know how familiar you are with Stoicism, but there's like that Stoic practice of meditating on one's mortality, and it helps. That's like one of the closer points I've gotten to death during that time, right? Anyways, yeah. So got access to my bank account, and I was able to get off the streets and get a really small 1-bedroom studio.
Yeah.
And did the rest of my senior year in high school there and stuff like that.
Where were you? Were you working a job? I would imagine at this point.
Not for my senior year, but after, yeah.
What did you? So you didn't have to get a job because you were able to afford a studio up until you finished school.
Yeah, literally just enough for that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That was probably, I imagine, a pretty tough time as a young 17-year-old guy.
It was tough, but it was also one of the most liberating moments of my life because for the first time in my entire life, I didn't have that oppressive pressure of my parents.
Yeah.
And like, I could like, I remember I was laying down in my bed in the studio.
Yeah.
And I was looking up at the ceiling and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm free. And that, don't get me wrong, I was stressed out in a lot of directions, but I wasn't, for the first time in my life, in that direction. There was no stress coming.
Yeah.
Because like I don't have to bite my tongue. I don't have to worry and be on high alert 24/7 because I have to make sure that I don't say the wrong thing at the wrong time and then have to deal with a huge blow up. That oppressive weight was just gone.
You felt like you were walking on eggshells when you were living with your father for a while?
24/7 for 17 years straight.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm walking on eggshells a lot of the time now.
Why is that?
Just from life circumstances. I'll leave it kind of
Okay.
that. Yeah, it's not from family or anything like that, but I feel like that sometimes too. It is a very hard pressure, and not everyone experiences that or understands what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like it's like a constant cloud of stress hanging over your head. It's like that like a burning sensation in the back of your spine.
And then for the first time, it was gone.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whew.
You felt
wow.
like free.
I mean, trust me, there was a lot more pressure from the world, but that pressure was gone, and it was, it was very nice.
You feel like you were intrinsically motivated enough to get after it after that on your own to take care of yourself and stuff?
100%. Yeah.
Do you feel like that growing up like that gave you a certain level of discipline?
Yeah, definitely did. Well, kind of. So, okay, so this is one of the times when two things can be true at the same time. Okay,
yeah.
So I wasn't very disciplined, but at the same time, I had a weird work ethic. Okay, so how I like to describe it was like, when I was a kid, I loved to draw, and I could draw 8 hours a day straight with my fingers starting to cramp and be totally content. So I had a weird focus, like anime, stuff like that.
You draw anime?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I didn't really like doing homework, and so I procrastinated a lot when it came to schoolwork.
Dude, I'm not a school person.
Yeah.
I hate college.
So,
I hate school too.
Those two things were true. But when I got kicked out at 17, there were a lot of cold, hard truths that I had to swallow. One, okay, you're really far behind your peers, okay? And not just in school, but in life circumstance. Yeah. Because poverty isn't right behind them right now. Like homelessness was just right behind me. And so I had a lot of motivation extrinsically.
To get the hell away from that.
Yeah. And so I started reading voraciously. Right.
Reading?
Yeah.
What were you reading?
the first thing that I read was this. I think it was like a book of like 1,001 awesome things, but it's like I just knew that I didn't know anything, and that somewhere out there's an answer for me in the book, but I had no idea where to start. And so let me just start reading. Let me get the habit of reading down. And then slowly I started getting into self-help books and really attacking that. I mean, I'm an English major, so it changed my perspective in life.
No kidding.
And I had to learn how to learn, because I knew that the way that school prescribed learning wasn't my way, but that doesn't mean I can use that as an excuse to just remain stupid my entire life.
Yeah.
And so that's when I learned about different approaches to learning and really flip things around.
Yeah. I think it takes a certain level of humility to take an accurate self-appraisal is how it's been described to me. You know
One of the things that I'm obsessed with is introspection and making sure that I know exactly where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a tough thing to do, man.
Yeah.
Most people don't have the ability, like genuinely just don't have that ability. I don't think that people are born with the ability. I think it's a learned skill that you have to get good at.
True.
You have to practice it.
Yeah.
And I am my own worst enemy. I'm also my own harshest critic, but I also am able to call myself on my own crap. And I'm able to be brutally honest with myself, so that way I can be.
But you also have to make sure that you don't have like a toxic amount of humility.
That's true. Yeah. There's a balance for sure.
Yeah.
There's a balance for sure, because you shouldn't be like beating yourself up, but you also need to be able to know that you're holding yourself accountable to yourself, you know?
No.
And again, like that's a hard thing to do, especially at 17, 18 years old. Like when I was 17, 18, I was so childish. Like I wouldn't have been able to, I would have had to figure it out. Like had I got kicked out or something like that and I was living on my own,
I had to grow up
like,
quick. Yeah.
I would have to have that poverty, like that, like
Yeah.
homelessness right on my back too. Otherwise I wouldn't have learned. That was honestly, that was the way I grew up the fastest is once I moved out of my parents' house and was paying for all of my own stuff.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I still had a safety net that a lot of other people maybe weren't fortunate as I had. Like if like worst case scenario, if like all of a sudden I was destitute, I could have probably hit my parents up and be like, "Can I sleep on your couch?" And I probably would have been fine. But I would never want to do that. Obviously, like by the time I moved out of my house, I think I was like 20, and I was like, I don't ever want to live with my parents again, like ever again. And that for me was enough to be like, let's make sure that we never get to a point where we're not able to like manage our own things. Still got a long way to go, even at 39. I feel like I am behind the curve, the power curve all the time, even now. And maybe part of that's what motivates me to work so hard is because I'm like, I feel like I wasted so much time when I was younger partying or trying to like make friends or worried about what people thought about me or worried about this superfluous thing or this thing or status or whatever it was, that I wasn't focused on the things that mattered, which was like, to me now, the things that matter is I would like to own some land. I would like to have a house. I would like to have a family. I want to have good quality friendships that I could, like people I can talk to and trust. Like that's super valuable and is very, very hard to come by these days because there's so much weird crap going on.
Yeah.
So the things that I value now are much different than I valued back then. But I think like what you're saying, like that having that like out of your control motivation to be like, you got to figure it out or you're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
You know, that helps a lot of people. It's like a lot of people say pain is a big motivator. Maybe that wasn't a painful thing necessarily, but like fear, pain, both of those things are big motivators to change.
Yeah.
You know, and that stuff, that some of those have helped me too. Fear and pain have helped me change a lot of routines and things in my life. Like for example, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, nothing. The only
But you smoke cigars.
I smoke cigars, but like no mind-altering substances of any kind. I don't drink at all.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't drank since
whiskey.
No, I haven't drank since 2000.
Okay.
2008. Actually, is when I quit everything completely.
Good on
My
you.
1 vice is nicotine now. So like nicotine
What's your
pouches.
form of choice? Okay, I was gonna.
Yeah.
Zins.
It changed.
Zins.
Yeah. It used to it used to be Copenhagen wintergreen
Yeah.
for the longest time, as is tradition, right? And then I mean we smoked cigarettes too in the field all the time. Like when
You got fat lip.
you
huh?
smoke when the chips are down,
Yeah.
like it's raining and you're cold, and yeah, that too. Maybe even smoke and dip at the same time. Obviously, like that stuff takes such a bad toll on your body. I'm more focused on like taking care of my body now, so I don't mess with that stuff anymore. It's been actually, I think the last cigarette I had was 2018 in 29 Palms. Actually, it was in the field. We had I think I had a Marlboro Red or something like that in the field because it was like.
Is that good, huh? You can remember it?
Yeah. Well, that's because like, yeah, it was. I mean, I loved smoking. I've always loved it, but that's
I still do.
Yeah, I still love it, but I just don't do it. Yeah, I think I've just gotten as I've gotten older, I've gotten more focused on like taking better care of my body. I think fitness and health, like working out and stuff like that's been a really big part of my life now too. Like especially for like mental health.
No doubt.
That's been like my staple. Not even because I care about my PT tests or any of that. It's more so because I want to feel normal and feel good.
Yeah, when someone comes up to me and said that they're like they're struggling with their mental health, but they're not sleeping properly and they're not eating properly and they're not working out, I was like, don't talk to me. Like
That's your problem.
get those 3 squared away first, and then if those problems are still there, then let's talk.
Yeah.
But like you don't have an excuse if you don't have those 3 first.
You have to.
Yeah.
So I can do the eating well and the working out on a regular basis. Very good at that. Adequate sleep is a real struggle for me because I'll
Same.
work too late or I'll stay up too late working. I try to rationalize that, well, I'm getting things done. I'm being productive, but no, you got to cut it off and you got to get enough sleep because if you don't get enough sleep,
You will pay for it.
Your whole outlook upon life changes.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. And you'll pay for it later too.
Yeah, you will pay for it. And you won't recover from your workouts as fast. You won't retain information as well. You won't be able to communicate and speak as effectively. So there's a lot of drawbacks to it. So you have to those 3 things are key. Getting enough sleep, eating healthy, like eating the right food, and working out. You have to do those 3. That is like a staple for my day-to-day. That is 100% a staple for me. And it's good to hear that other folks are doing the same thing because that's like it keeps me happy.
Mhm.
It keeps me happy. It keeps my outlook upon life positive. I feel like the future is a bright place when I get to do that stuff. If I don't do it, the future can become real dark and bleak real fast.
Yeah. 100%.
And I choose. I have to actively choose every day to do that because it is a decision. There's a decision point where you have to act on it, and if you don't, then you won't ever do it. You have to find time to fit it in your schedule. Like how do you fit that stuff into your schedule?
To be honest, I'm like, if you're probably the same way. Like if I don't work out for like 2 days, I feel kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if I can't go to the gym, then I'm just like, I have this thing, like, let's say I'm just working too much, then I'll set a timer for like every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. I have to do an X workout, like 10 burpees or something easy. And I'll just do it for like 2 hours straight.
Like at the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing something at least, even if you're like, you got to really.
But I'm usually at the gym for about an hour and a half every day. Yeah.
Okay. You go to a decent gym?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like lifting weights or doing cardio or
Both?
Both? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten to a point now. I used to hate cardio. I actually honestly enjoy it a little bit now because like it really clears my head. Like it forces all of the thoughts that are coagulating up there and getting crusty to like leave my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really like good for me. Clearing my head.
Yeah.
Is
A
really
mile
good.
run will do that for sure.
Yeah. That's what like the other day I ran. I was in my office from 9 a.m. until 7:30 at night, just working and just hand jamming stuff and like putting stuff together, uploading things, scheduling things. No break. And I was like, I need to go work out. I wanted to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go for a run. Just ran 3 miles and came home and I was like, I needed that. I feel much better now.
Yeah.
My whole outlook on life changed.
For me, that I get that from swimming.
Swimming, that's a really good
because you just got to put your head down. And I usually, whenever I swim, I just swim a mile, right?
Yeah.
And so that's
a
like
lot though.
Yeah, so that's like 30 minutes of like meditating. Because like it's you just focus on your breath.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then you walk out of it like
feel like $1 million.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude, swimming is such an underrated way to work out, man. People like to rag on that, but
But
it's
you got to be
actually-
careful with your form because you can mess up your shoulders pretty
Oh,
bad.
for sure.
If you have
your
bad
rotator
form,
cuff.
you can really hurt your shoulder.
Yeah, you gotta be
And
careful.
I'm at the gym and I see a lot of people just like, oh, you're gonna pay for that in like 2 years.
That's a tough one because it's like if you see people lifting improperly, you want to help them,
Yeah.
but then in today's day and age, you don't know who's
You
filming.
get canceled.
Yeah, you don't know if you're gonna get canceled or Joey Swole's gonna make a video on you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, look, I'm just trying to help, man. I'm not trying to like do anything weird, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I think more people are, especially in today's day and age. I think that the younger generations of folks are getting more interested in exercise and things like that than probably like. I think the people that probably have the hardest time with that is like the boomers. Because like they didn't maybe necessarily grow up with that, but like it's so
True.
in your face now.
True.
And everybody sees people working out on Instagram and on TikTok and all these things. They're like, maybe I'll just go to the gym, and I think it's becoming a little bit more popular. And plus people, part of it is like people want to look good for the camera. They want to look good in person. And everything's audio visual now. And if you want to film content, you want to be posting pictures of yourself.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about working out. It'll make you look good and it'll make you feel good.
Yeah. Looking good is like an ancillary effect. The
Yeah.
feel good part is like the main reason.
Yeah.
But the looking
And you'll
good
live
will happen.
longer.
Yeah.
And you're less likely to get injured.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you'll have a better quality of life. You'll be able to go do things that you enjoy doing that
You'll
require
think better.
energy. You'll think better. Yeah.
I mean, there's no downside to working out.
Yeah.
Unless
none.
you have bad form.
Unless you have bad form. Exactly. That's it, man. Exactly. So let me ask you this. So what did you do for work after you moved out and once you got done with high school?
I was a couple of jobs. Let me see. The first thing I did was modeling. I did some male modeling.
Okay.
And
Like
then,
with what type of clothing?
I've done everything from high fashion to a commercial.
No kidding.
Yeah.
When you were like 18.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then, but it's a funny story. So like, since I was a kid, I thought my dream was to be a male model.
Really?
I thought so. But I always pushed off that dream because I always made up an excuse until I turned 17 where I was like, okay, you're not allowed to make excuses anymore because you're so far behind and it's time for you to step up.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do male modeling, right? And it took me about 6 months before I ever got my first gig. But then I finally got my first gig. And then eventually I became somewhat of a working model.
Really?
You know?
You were getting paid for it?
Right.
Okay.
And you know what I learned?
What's that?
I hated it.
It was bad?
It was boring. Just
Was it
taking
really?
photos. I was like, oh my gosh.
This is
But if I
awful.
never went after my dream, I would have spent my whole life thinking that my dream was to be a male model,
Yeah.
deluding myself, deceiving myself,
Yeah.
you know? And then after being a male model and realizing how boring it was and that I needed something a little more intellectually stimulating, the next job I did was I was a chef.
A chef?
A chef.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
And a
Did you go
friend-
to culinary school or anything?
No, but I lied.
You lied?
I lied to the chef. I was like, I want to work at your restaurant so that I can go to culinary school
Oh, man.
to show that I had some type of interest.
Yeah.
But eventually the chef was like, people go to culinary school so they can work at this restaurant, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But
I'm doing it in reverse.
yeah, but one of the key things that I learned is like, if you want to work anywhere, say that you work for free. So that's what I said. I was like, I'll work for you for free. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they hired me in like 3 days.
Because you said you'd work for free.
I showed up, but then I also worked my ass off.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't just some idiot.
Yeah.
That like I showed the dedication, and they're like, okay, if you really want to work here, we'd be willing to offer you a position. You know?
And actually, like a paid position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, did that for probably another 6 months.
What kind of restaurant was it?
French
French
Japanese fusion.
French Japanese fusion.
Yeah,
What is that food like?
delicious.
I'm not sure what French food is other than escargot.
Pretty much anything with butter and
au poivre.
salt is French.
Butter and salt.
To be honest.
I will say I like foie gras.
Oh, really?
Have you
Okay,
ever
yeah.
had
So
foie gras?
our restaurant had PETA protests because of our foie gras.
Really?
Yeah,
A
and
PETA protest?
oh yeah.
Because of foie gras? It's just goose liver.
Do you know how they make it?
No, is it really like
So you put
Bad?
a duck. I mean, you put a goose in a cage and then you force feed it.
Oh.
So it gets very fat.
Ooh, okay.
And then you have a fatty liver.
yeah.
And then that's
So
how you
it's
get foie
considered
gras.
inhumane by PETA and some
You
other
should
people.
see these cages. Like, I can understand why people get mad, but people like foie gras. To me, I guess because I worked at that restaurant, I had so much foie gras. It wasn't that special to me anymore because it was a
Okay.
part of the dish. So, I had to taste test it and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interest. Well, let me ask you this. Do you like Japanese food then?
Yes.
Do you? I know
Yeah.
that's a
So
really
one of
odd,
the
random
jobs I
question.
had when I was in college was I was a sous chef at a sushi restaurant.
Were you? Okay, I love
Yeah.
sushi.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I could crush sushi, ramen, udon.
I was a ramen chef as well.
Were you? Dude, love ramen. Like real old school ramen, dude. That was one of the things I always would look for when I was like in Korea and Okinawa and mainland Japan is I would try to find like a little hole in the wall ramen restaurant.
So good.
Oh, dude. Change your life.
Yeah.
Change your life, bro.
Yeah.
I love noodles. And plus, like, obviously being a huge anime fan, I was like, I want to go into a noodle shop, bro. Like, I want
Yeah.
to eat noodles in
Yeah.
a noodle shop.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And again, this goes back to, like,
Killer.
my obsession with, like, Japanese food and culture and all that stuff. I don't know if ramen or noodles originated in Japan. It may have originated somewhere else before that. but-
Originally a Chinese dish.
Chinese? Okay.
And then Korea and Japan have their own versions of it.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Ramen and ramyeon. Ramyeon being Korean, ramen being Japanese.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, both are very good. I know bulgogi is also really good.
Bulgogi, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
bulgogi.
Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Not really a
beef.
Japanese equivalent, but yes, it is.
Yeah. That's one thing I like. They had really good bulgogi. And then I can't remember some of the other things I had, but I like dumplings too. Dumplings are really good. Like the ones that are rounded with like the top.
Mandu. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good too. There was another
Bao.
but char siu bao.
Char siu bao.
Char siu bao.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Yeah. That's
Like-
Chinese.
That's Chinese?
Mhm.
Okay. There's probably a heavy Chinese. I mean, there's probably a heavy Chinese, Filipino.
Japanese people
Japanese-
love the char siu.
Do they?
Well, they would just call it char siu.
Chashu?
Yeah.
Okay. Because being stationed in Hawaii, lots of that type of food there too.
Mhm.
Any type of Asian
Mhm.
cuisine you could ever
Mhm.
imagine. And there's one of the best udon noodle shops I've ever been to anywhere
It was in Korea?
was in Waikiki. No joke. Waikiki in Honolulu.
I was just there. What was it
It's-
called? I might know it.
It used to be called Marukame Udon.
Ah, okay. Marukame.
But now it's called Marugame, apparently. They added a G on and took the K.
Yeah, that's a very popular chain in Japan.
It used to be a K. I swear to God, back when I was stationed there, and it's a G now. But is
That's
it
very
chain?
good. It's very good. I don't remember.
It's
No.
a chain?
Oh, it's a pretty popular chain.
I didn't know it was a chain. Yeah, I just know they make the noodles right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Like from scratch, and it was the best damn udon I've ever had anywhere.
Yeah.
The best ramen I've ever had was surprisingly also in Hawaii, and it's a place called Tenkai Pen. I think it's
I haven't heard of that one.
Tenkai Pen, and it's on Oahu.
If we ever go to Japan together, I think I'll be able to show you a couple.
I
places.
guarantee Japan's gonna have
That
better
might be
stuff. I'll
pretty
probably
good.
be like, this is my new favorite for sure, because I need to go. I've never been to Kyoto. Need to go to Kyoto.
Delicious.
Amazing food, I've heard. Tokyo, I only spent one day there.
Not enough time.
Not enough time for anything.
Yeah.
Hardly at all.
Yeah.
There's so much good food there that I haven't tried that I would love to do. But I think that place. I think they made a homemade chicken bone broth, like scratch made broth, not like a canned broth. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like thick, almost creamy,
Well, all ramen places would do that.
like real ramen places.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
all be homemade,
Yeah.
like in shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, before being in Hawaii, like all the ramen I ever had was like on the East Coast, and it's like if you get ramen in your average random restaurant, it's not usually going to be a homemade broth. It's going to be like some
Interesting.
sort of like, maybe
Powder.
powder, or like just like you buy like a quart
Of chicken
of
broth.
chicken stock.
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
pour-
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they made it from scratch. I think all scratch made anything is always gonna be better. Like my wife makes scratch made bread
Yeah.
every week because she doesn't like buying bread in the stores anymore because there's a lot of preservatives. We try to eat pretty healthy. Like I'm on this weird diet now. I've been doing like a carnivore thing for the most part, but every now and then I'll eat some carbs, like if I feel like it, But most of the time it's just like,
Steak,
eggs, steak, hamburger, chicken, turkey,
bacon.
bacon, sausage, things like that. But normally it's like I'll get up, I'll have 5 eggs, and I'll have a black cup of coffee, and I'll have like some mixed nuts in between that and lunch, and then lunch. I'll
Oh,
have,
you
like,
can
3
eat
burgers.
nuts on a carnivore diet? I didn't know that.
It's kind of like, if it's like, you're still not eating like carbs, you're getting fats. It's kind of keto.
Yeah.
It's kind of keto friendly eating nuts, as long as you're not eating like a bunch of like cranberries and stuff like that with it, But and I'll eat vegetables occasionally.
Can
too,
you eat
try to
like sugared walnuts?
No, I don't eat any of that stuff. Yeah, if it's
Okay.
like sugar covered, I don't. Go
Do
for
you
it.
know Nick Freitas?
I love Nick Freitas.
Okay.
I was actually texting him just the other day.
Okay.
I would
okay.
love. I did a podcast with him a while back. I would love to do one in person with him. I want to. I need
Oh,
to.
he's great. So, he sent me so
That's awesome that you know Nick. That's
oh,
cool.
he's awesome. I
He's a
was
great
on the
dude.
phone with him like a couple days ago.
Were
so
you?
yeah,
He's a great dude.
so I sent him for Christmas 3 very nice Cuban cigars.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Because
what a nice guy.
we smoke cigars together, and he sends me an assortment of nuts.
Oh, did he?
So I was pretty disappointed when I saw this.
I was disappointed.
I was
you
like,
sent me nuts. I
like
sent you cigars.
nuts.
That's
like,
funny as hell.
you want me to eat your nuts? Anyways,
Did he grow them himself?
I don't know. No, he definitely didn't. Definitely did. He definitely like a website of like
There's
gifts
no
of
way.
nuts, right? And so I'm just like, what am I gonna do with this? And then so I was like, okay. So I just like open it up and I start eating them, and I was like, oh wow, these are actually pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah, and like when you're smoking, like finger food is
Yeah.
definitely a thing.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Perfect for
It's
that.
perfect. So when I called him, I was like, I owe you an apology.
Because
Because when I first got the gift, I was like, I'm never sending him anything ever again.
I love Nick, man.
He laughed. He laughed.
I'm sure he's got a good sense of humor. He's got, he does a lot of like skit style stuff too, but he's got,
Oh, he's done skits?
well, I guess maybe it's not really skit. It's more like,
I would
hey,
love to see him do a skit.
he would probably crush it.
Yeah.
I think he could definitely crush skits.
I'm trying to push him to do a little more acting.
Really?
Yeah.
He would be a great actor.
Yeah.
He'd be a great main character, strong
Yeah.
male main character protagonist.
I can also see him do comedy. You know
I can
what I
see him
mean?
do that
Like
for
a
sure.
Ron Swanson type.
Yeah. Like that's not real meat.
Yeah.
And dumping it in the trash or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great dude, and like he's got a super good set of values, like family values, like the homesteading life stuff. Like I'm all about that, and I think a really good influence on young people as well, just teaching them how to be a good.
I didn't know he was homesteading, but I know he's
I don't know
definitely
if he's
homeschooling.
homesteading. I know he does.
Big on homeschooling.
He's big on. Oh yeah, he's big on homeschooling. I think he likes the homesteading lifestyle. I don't know if he homesteads himself, but I think he's got an interest in that kind of stuff. I think a lot of us in this kind of community have an interest in
That man is more beard than face.
He is more beard than face. He is a little bit more beard than face, but man, he's just like, he's got that face that's just like the brawny guy on the paper towels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Like he could cut trees down with an axe. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a real man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I guarantee that dude's just tough as nails too. Like he's just
But
good,
the
strong
nicest
man.
guy you'll ever meet too.
Oh yeah, 100%. He'd give
Yeah.
the shirt off, give you the shirt off his back if
Yeah.
you need.
I love him
man.
to death. He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fortunate to link up with him. I think in 2024 is when I first talked to him at some point. And my dad loves him too. My dad actually watches him on a regular basis, and I told him that on the phone. I was like, my dad loves you, right? He's like a really big fan. My dad's a boomer, so it's like kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick's a great dude. I'm glad that you
Solid
guys are in
dude.
contact. I think he's a really good a good person to reach out to if you ever had somebody that you wanted to like get some knowledge from or get an opinion on. I think he's got a good set of opinions on things too, if you ever want to bounce ideas off him and stuff like that. I would say a good mentor for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of characteristics and traits of somebody I would consider to
Good
be a
Christian
good mentor.
man for sure.
Good Christian man, yeah. Do you guys
Yeah.
ever talk about Christ and religion?
Every time. Literally, after every phone call, we pray for each other.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like once we're done with the conversation, it's like, okay, let's end in prayer and then
Let's get into that a little bit because I
Okay.
want to hear. That was one of the things I brought up. I wanted to talk to you about it because like my wife obviously found your content from not only the funny comedy skits, but also because she appreciates the fact that you're pretty open about your faith on social media and things like that. So what kind of like sparked that interest in the first place? I know obviously your father was a pastor.
Yeah.
You had that upbringing, so
that was the first.
that was like the
exposure.
first thing.
Yeah.
And then did you maintain that even when you moved out and stuff like that? Or
No,
did you
I
kinda
lost
dip-
my faith at around 15 to so I lost my faith at around 15 and then became an atheist at around 17 and then became an agnostic up until I joined the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, like it was like in training, going to chapel, and like,
Was that kind of like what brought you out of atheist into agnostic again?
yeah, exactly.
You're
Like I wasn't fully Christian again, but it was like being around the boys inside a church and how nice it was. Not the chapel, but just like, worshiping with the boys and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then getting out, and then getting canceled, right?
You got canceled?
Oh yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
We don't have to go into the details.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
But at the same time getting canceled, I lost my grandparents. Right.
Wow. When you were getting canceled?
Yeah. In a 2-month time frame, right?
Oh, geez.
And then got canceled again, right? Because when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, of course.
And I was praying to God. I was like, how much more are you gonna take away from me? How much more do you need from me?
Were you were close? Was this your Korean grandparents?
Yeah.
that
These
you were
were
really close.
really
with?
close to. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They're like my definition of unconditional love, right? And I was like praying to God, how much more are you going to take away from me? And then God, there's one of the times when I clearly heard God's voice. It was like, how much more do I have to take away from you before you realize I'm the only thing that you have to begin with? And once I heard that, I was like, okay, roger that. I got it. And that's when I really made the shift of slowly surrendering things up to God and trying to live the life.
And how did you physically go about doing that?
First thing was I went celibate for a year.
Celibate
For a year. And also fast for 24 hours every Sunday for 3 to 4 years.
every Sunday,
Every Sunday.
even now.
No, I stopped doing that.
Okay, but
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a thing you were doing for a
For
period of
3 to
time.
4 years.
Okay, and then did you end up going back to a church at some point, or
Oh yeah. Yeah. Immediately.
what denomination did you start off going to?
It was a Japanese church, and I think they were Presbyterian.
Okay, is
Yeah.
it a Japanese church?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Because I speak Japanese too.
okay,
Yeah.
and so you were.
I was looking for a place where I knew nobody would know me.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to be just another
Anonymous.
face in the crowd.
Correct,
Anonymous.
Mundo. Yeah.
Why did you want to be anonymous? You wanted just like nobody to bother you or something, or
Yeah, pretty much. Like I wanted a place where I didn't have to be Reed Choi. I wanted a place where I could just be with God.
were you
Like,
already
I don't have
pretty
to
big on
perform.
the internet at that point?
Yeah, by then I probably had around 3 million followers.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's like every platform together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which is still a significant amount. So you wanted to go somewhere nobody knew you, nobody would notice you. You could actually like really focus on your faith and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you went to this Japanese Presbyterian church?
Yeah. It might have been Methodist.
Methodist.
But yeah.
But either way, so you went there. How long did you go to that church for?
3 years.
3. And then did you decide to go to a different denomination after that?
Right now I'm going to a non-dom.
Non-denominational?
But I switched between non-dom and a Catholic church.
Okay. Yeah, because you just went on that pilgrimage to Baltimore or Baltimore.
Baltimore. I love
Biltmore.
that.
Sounds kind of like Biltmore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking Biltmore for some reason. So Baltimore, and that was a Catholic affiliated
Pilgrimage, yeah.
Pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Um,
It was 100% a Catholic pilgrimage.
yeah, but you're not. You don't
Catholic,
consider
no.
yourself a Catholic, though.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, like Protestants and Catholics, they're all Christians to me.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think, it's like a cake is a cake. Like there may be carrot cake, there may be vanilla cake, there may be chocolate cake, but at the end of the day, it's still cake.
Yeah.
Still
Unless it's
tastes like
Mormon.
cake. Still looks like a cake.
Unless it's Mormon.
Well,
Well,
that's a different cake.
yeah.
I don't know. That's more like a cheesecake. Although I do have a lot of friends who are
I
Mormons,
love
who are very
cheesecake,
nice.
though.
They're very nice people.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, there's plenty of good Mormons out there. Just
Oh
very
yeah,
different.
no, they're all
Every
good
Mormon I've
people,
ever
yeah.
met were like the
Amazing
most nicest,
people.
kindest, kind-hearted. They'd give you the shirt off their back. Nicest people ever. Just not necessarily my cup of tea as far as for my personal religious experience, spiritual experience. But I like the idea personally, just because of like I wasn't raised in a Baptist household with like the situation you had, but because I grew up in the church, like we went to church every Sunday as kids. Like my mom was very adamant about us going every single Sunday. I was bored out of my mind. I was like, dude, I can't stand doing this. I was bored to death, like absolutely bored to death.
Yeah, Catholic churches, they're definitely more for adults. I
Catholic
can't
for
see
sure.
a Catholic, a child enjoying a Catholic mass.
It's tough. Even Episcopal, even if it's like similar but slightly different, it's still very similar in the sense that I was like, oh, I'm bored to death. But now as an adult, it's like, I
you can
look at
appreciate it.
I think I appreciate it a little bit more. And also, I like the idea. I think that spirituality is almost more important than caring about what denomination you are, or having some kind of belief in some sort of a thing greater than yourself is going to be better than not believing in anything at all, for me.
Yeah,
What
you
works
just got to
in my
find
life.
what flavor you like,
Yes.
know?
I think so.
Yeah, as long as it's Christian, to me.
Yeah.
You just got to be Christian, and then find what, if you want to be a Protestant or you want to be an Orthodox, go ahead. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I could never see myself being anything other than Christian either,
Yeah.
personally. For me, other people can do what they want, but like that's what I feel the most affinity towards. But I do like the idea that you can practice anywhere. I like
Yes.
the idea that you don't have to just practice only in church, and that's the only place that you can practice.
Yeah.
Because like there should like that's really that like kind of puts it in a box where it's like a lot of people don't want to, especially young people, don't want to be constricted to like I have to only do it. It has to be done this exact way because it looks different for everybody, right? Like the way that everybody's going to practice their faith or their spirituality is going to look different, And so I think it's just good to have some sort of a belief in something bigger than yourself, that's greater than yourself out there. Just because, I mean, life
Intellectually,
would be
it's a healthy practice.
I think so, yeah. And it'd be a very kind of a bleak outlook on life.
Nihilist.
Nihilism, dude, that's a real dangerous path, especially with social media being what it is right now, dude.
Definitely
You could go
curtails
down
it.
that path real quick. I've caught myself having like glimpses of that in the past after being too oversaturated, spending too much time on there. And then I've been like, whoa, we need to take a break. And then there'll be weeks where I just don't scroll at all. Don't look at anything, I mean, maybe
I wish I could do that. But.
Maybe I'll look just enough to find things that are happening, but I won't scroll at all. Zero. I have to get much better about that because I'm still bad
recreational scrolling.
Recreational scroll, yeah. Yeah, if I'm like on the toilet or something, that's like the one place that's changed a lot, hasn't it? Because like we used to have magazines on the back of the toilet. Not anymore.
No
need for magazine.
Yeah.
Now your phones are just
there
covered
used to be a lot more just like waiting in silence.
Yes.
Going to a doctor's office or a dentist's office.
You're just sitting there waiting.
You just sit there.
Yeah.
And we kind of lost that ability to do, And I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I think retreats are so good. Or going away and going hunting.
Yeah.
Or going off and camping. Or doing something outside.
Or like the next time you're going on a drive. Don't turn on music or a podcast. Just drive.
Yeah, just drive and have the window down or something.
Yeah.
Just listen to the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's value in that too. That's one of the things I like about being able to do drives, like renting a car and then just going for like drive when you're out somewhere. It's not my vehicle. I'm in an area I don't live in. You know, it's different than being in your own car, for me anyway. Definitely different than being in an Uber. You know what I mean? You're not gonna. I don't feel like you're gonna get the same experience if you're like in a taxi or an Uber, because like there's somebody else in there with you. You know, it's nice to kind of like have some peace in your own head inside of the enclosed vehicle that you're in by yourself. Sometimes be alone with your, just some quiet. So, especially in the day and age where you're so bombarded with so much stuff, it's just like constantly trying to get your attention all the time. So I think there's value in that for sure. But anyway, you ended up finding non-denominational. When did you find that you wanted to be more vocal about it?
It was the last thing. So I was surrendering everything else in my life, but my career, because I was afraid that if I gave that to God, He would take it away. But then it was the last thing I had to give up, and I was like, I'm all in on this.
Fear?
So, yeah, it was fear.
What were you afraid of?
That He would take it away.
Are you afraid that if you were open about it, that He would take it away from you?
Yeah.
Why do you think He was going to take away your faith? Do you think something was going to happen, or?
No, just in my experience, when I gave up something to God, a lot of times He just took it away. So I was afraid that this was going to be. But it was a fear falsely founded, because as soon as I did that, the first video I made about my faith went viral. Right? And He just blessed it beyond imagination and grew my platform and blessed my other videos like crazy. And, now we're sitting at, around 12 million followers now.
12 million?
Yeah.
Across all platforms?
Yeah.
That's a freaking lot, man.
Yeah. And like...
What's on TikTok?
7.
7?
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
7 something. Yeah.
That's crazy. How long you been doing this stuff for?
5 years.
Okay, 5 years solid, yeah.
Yeah. But, God blessed it.
Yeah.
And it helped me build a lot of confidence in the Lord. To the point where now I'm very comfortable of getting out of my own way and just letting God do His thing.
You mean, when you say that, do you mean like not trying to be in control of everything?
Yeah. Not worrying about how am I going to get to the next step.
Okay.
God's got it.
Yeah.
I just have to make sure I show up.
Yeah, I have a problem surrendering certain things like that too, because I want to be in control of my destiny. And I like being in control of like what's happening or my own life. Yeah. And oftentimes there are things that happen, and I'll tell you this offline, off air, that I don't have control over. That sometimes I want to be in control of.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had conversations about this in the past too. Yeah. And I know there's some frustrating things, and sometimes you have to turn.
I do have to tell you something that will make you laugh about when I got canceled, but I want to tell you. Okay. So, I'm sorry.
I didn't want to pry because I'm not like trying to push you.
It's just so funny. Okay. So you know how I put my DD214 out, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the critiques from the haters, they're like, yeah, you put DD214. You know what DD stands for, right? Dishonorable discharge.
Oh my God, dude. Who was saying that?
It couldn't have been Department of Defense. But...
No, it couldn't have possibly been Department of Defense.
When I saw that, I was like, you got it, dude. You got it, brother. You got me.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That person there's no way that person was an actual, like, a veteran.
No, of course not.
Way.
No.
People were probably laughing.
It was definitely a civilian that said it. I'm not going to name any names. But,
yeah. No, that's fine.
I for me, when I saw that, I actually like hollered laughing, like
belly laughed. Yeah.
I was like, dishonorable discharge.
DD, that's dishonorable.
I had to tell you that.
That's
I
funny.
just wanted to tell you.
No, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's that's, I think that
you got me, dude.
Yeah, 100%. Oh,
I got dishonorable discharge 214 times.
214 times. 214 times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm actually the 214th person to get dishonorably discharged. Yeah. That's why I've gotten the 214 number. Yeah. No, that's fine. There's a lot of that type of stuff that people, they might.
But you were talking about like stuff that was outside of your control.
Oh,
that's, I understand how that feels.
Yeah. That's a.
Especially when it's a blatant lie, But
yeah, for sure. Well, there's a lot of blatant lies people probably still say about you. There's definitely a lot of blatant lies people say about me all the time. And at this point, like I don't even really look at the comments that much anymore.
Yeah.
You know, unless
I
it's
think
like,
that's just healthy. I learned that from, funny enough, Joe Rogan saying
me
something.
too.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
exactly who I learned it from
Yeah.
too. Because it's just so much healthier to not be in there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and people can form whatever their opinion. You know, another thing that's interesting is, and I think my dad told me this, and somebody else must have told him maybe, or maybe I don't think he came up with it. Somebody probably told him, but what other people think of me is none of my business.
Amen.
It's none of my business. I don't need to worry about what they think about me. What do I think about me?
Yeah. For
What
me,
do I think, you know, whatever my higher power I believe in thinks about me. You know?
also on the creative aspect, at least the way that I attack it, the reason why I don't look at comments is because the reason why people came here was because it was something originally from me. But if I allow the comments to dictate my content, all of a sudden it's not coming from me, it's coming from them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you want that creative purity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And that definitely happens because, like, especially with like the type of stuff I talk about, people want you to talk about certain things. You know, I'm sure it happens with you too because you talk about current events in like a skit.
Oh, I
comedy
can't tell how
template.
many DMs I have of people like asking me to talk about this and that or that. I'm
Yeah.
just like, no,
Yeah, because you didn't want to.
I don't
if
want
you
to.
wanted to, you
Yeah,
would have done it.
If
Yeah.
I wanted to, you would have seen it.
You would have seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, I think that's fair because I mean at the end of the day it's your platform. You worked hard to build it. It's your content. If you want to do so, it's like, why would I go work a job that I don't want to do?
Yeah.
And be miserable.
Like the reason why I picked this job is so I don't have a boss. So I don't have a cubicle. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, everyone has a boss.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But like at least my boss isn't some prick up in a bigger office trying to, you know,
Dictate what I can post. and what I can't
micromanaging
post.
everything that you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 There's definitely some true liberty and freedom of expression involved in it.
Yeah. You just have to work crazy hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to, especially in like what we were talking
Especially
about.
if you want any longevity to it.
Oh, yeah. For sure with longevity.
How long have you been doing this?
Really, I would say heavily since 2023, but I really started in like April of 2022. That's
Okay.
kind of really when I first started posting on a
That's
regular
cool.
basis.
Yeah. So like the whether you want to call it like the crucifix or the test is 5 years. Like if you can make it 5 years,
Yeah.
then things really start picking up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like most content creators don't make it a year, but like 80% don't make it past 5.
I'm 3 years in.
Yeah. So 2 more years. You got it.
Yeah, I think we'll
Just
be
stick
good.
your head down.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just keep your head down, keep grinding, keep
Yep.
moving. That's it. And then
So I can't wait to see where you'll be in 2 years.
I'll
That'd
do it.
be really cool.
I tend to be pretty. I'm a pretty optimistic person.
As you should be.
I want to be optimistic. I don't like being pessimistic. It doesn't do me any good to be pessimistic. I like being an upbeat, positive, optimistic human being, and I want other people to feel optimistic about life too. Because like,
You should be full of yourself.
well, I'm not. I'm definitely not full of myself.
You should be.
I'm pretty. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that perceive that for sure.
Oh, you think so?
Guarantee that. I probably come off as a pompous asshole to a lot of people.
I don't think you do.
I hope not.
Yeah.
That's not my intent.
But you should.
You should.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I like I said.
You should love yourself, man.
Well, so, yeah, I think compassion for oneself is important.
Yeah.
Being compassionate.
But
for
also
yourself.
like being one's cheerleader, you know?
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Like
too.
my favorite response is like, hey, you're so full of yourself. Is who the hell else am I going to be full of?
Yeah,
You know?
fool somebody else. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know.
You know? You got to be your biggest fan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely try to be my own biggest fan. I'm also my own harshest critic because like I'm gonna like I
Don't be harsh, be accurate.
yeah. What I mean by harsh critic is like I am very hard on myself as far as holding myself to a certain standard or expectations for.
Well, do you have a
workload.
lot of people that you reflect with?
No, I typically am doing it on my own.
Okay, so I would recommend that. I have regular in-person meetings and phone calls. Like with Nick, that's a monthly phone call.
Really?
We'll check in on each other. Hey, you know, what does the next 6 months look like? What are some pivots that you're making? X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I have a weekly meeting with a group of people where we're at, so we call it dream meetings, right? And so like what is our big dream? You know,
Yeah.
not like 6 month goal or 5 year goal, but like what is our North Star?
Yeah.
And then how do we budget that? How do we plan that? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it helps so that you have third parties that will give you perspective, so that if it's just you dissecting you, you know, you might lose focus sometimes. But if
Yeah.
you got a team of people of whose opinions that you trust and respect, that's important. You can't just be some schmuck that you pick off the street.
Yeah.
That helps.
That's a tough thing to do, because I think one of the hardest parts about this whole thing is opening up to people
Yeah.
is hard. And that's just based on previous experiences that I've had.
Well, that's a big vet thing. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
It's a real problem.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
Like,
And I keep that to myself, and like it stays bottled up, and I don't really talk to anybody about it. But
so I went to Creator Range Day. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
And I went to a lot of veterans. I was like, hey, can I pray for you? You know? And then I challenged them that, okay, now I want you to go and pray for someone else. And me praying for them was powerful, sure.
Yeah.
But then they would come back to me about them praying for someone else. And then those stories were like literally because that they prayed for this person. They're like, yo. So I was gonna delete myself.
Yeah.
And then opened up a whole bag of worms there. Or another guy talking about how when he prayed, like he cried for the first time in like I don't know how many years, you know. But it's like it's such a common vet problem that I see, where which is strange because there's no tighter knit brotherhood than the veteran brotherhood, but there's also like, let me just never show weakness ever.
Yeah. And there's also
like what?
There's also a real problem with comparing ourselves to each other.
Yeah.
And insecurity. And
I think one of the reasons why people are more, or at least vets, and this is a pure guess on my part.
Yeah.
It's because I don't look like them. Most vets, 90% of them are white, 10% of them are black, and then there's me.
We got a ton of Hispanics in the Marine Corps.
Oh, no. Okay, that's true.
We got a lot of Spanish.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
We got a million Gomez's and Gutierrez's.
Yeah.
You know
70% of them are white.
I don't know.
20% are Hispanic.
There's a lot for sure.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But not a lot of Asians.
Yeah.
And they'll come up to me and they'll just share things with me. But yeah, there needs to be a lot more of like, I don't know, spilling the guts.
Yeah, and there's a lot to that. I think the tough thing is like knowing the right people to spill your guts to, because you could spill your guts to the wrong person and that person use it against you.
That's
because
true.
I've seen that happen a lot, especially in the vet community, which is, it really is honestly one of the most disheartening things ever, because like you're saying, we should be our biggest cheerleaders, should be our biggest support system.
Well, that's why you got to be careful about who you choose.
Yeah, you have to.
But you got to tell someone.
You got to tell somebody.
That doesn't mean you don't choose anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. That's true. That doesn't mean that you don't talk to anybody, but it's a tough thing to figure out, and you have to. That is a thing that each individual has to navigate on their own, because nobody can make those decisions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough thing to navigate.
Yeah.
I do think that we have a lot of room to grow, which is good, because that means that there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
And just because it's like, just because we have a real problem in this community with people committing self-harm doesn't mean that you don't stop trying to reduce that number. Just because it's going to always happen, is always going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you stop trying.
Yeah.
And that's something a good friend of mine said. I'm going to be talking to him tomorrow about that, actually. But yeah, I think we're our best friends and also our worst enemies. It's weird. It's very weird. It's probably the same thing I would imagine in every niche. I bet that there's the painter industry is like just the same way. I bet that people that are in the video game industry that make video games are probably like that too. It's probably like that in the musician industry. You know, there's probably like they're like your best friends, or they're like trying to ditty you. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. You know, so there's like in every niche of whatever genre of interest that there is out there, there's probably a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You know? So I know you said you went to the Japanese,
French restaurant?
no, the church,
Oh, Japanese
church, and then you went non-dom,
Yeah.
and then you eventually got comfortable enough where you were comfortable with talking about
My faith.
your faith.
Yeah.
And now, where do you see this taking you in the future? Like, what are some of your goals as far as like your faith is concerned? Do you want to grow how much of your content is about your faith? Do you want to become more involved with like attending a church in person? Do you want to be more involved with a community of people that share similar belief systems about their faith? Like what
So right now, I'm part of a Christian network of Christians that are in the movie industry. Yeah, I'm not going to say what. I'll say it off camera, but
Sure.
Part of that. And so
that's another thing I want to get into is the movie industry, the acting stuff. I want to talk a little bit about that too.
So I just started acting now 2 years ago. I used to say it last year, but we're in the new year now.
Yeah.
But I knew that I wanted to do it by and with God, right? And I didn't know how I was going to do that, but as I started doing acting, I started meeting all of these Christians in the industry through my videos, because they saw my videos and then they would send me a DM or like my content, and then turns out they're also really deep in their faith. And then I got exposed to so many Christians within the industry that I feel so confident that God is secretly moving in it, and like we're going to see a huge shift. And I just want to be a part of that wave. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be only posting Christian content. I don't want to be that guy. I am a creative person, and so the way that creativity is like breathing to me, and not everything that I create is going to be about Christ.
Yeah.
And I always just want to be making something.
But you're very creative. I mean, you come up with these skits, and it's like I don't know how. All these people that are really big on all these platforms that do skits, it blows my mind.
It's like a muscle.
I guess it
just
must
work
be.
it out.
You just have to do it.
Do it every day for 5 years. You get pretty good.
5 years every day.
You get pretty good.
I guess that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Like, because dude, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, bro,
You should try it.
How the hell they do this stuff?
All right, can I I love doing this. Can I challenge you?
I'm not gonna make skits, dude. I can't do. I'm not a skit guy.
I want you to make one.
Make one.
One skit video by what's today? Sunday? By next Sunday.
I'm not gonna be back home until Friday. I might be able to do one. We'll see. I'll figure it out.
Just 30 seconds.
30 seconds? You want me to shake?
Yeah.
All right.
It's not real if it's not a shake.
Okay, fair enough. It's not real if it's not a shake.
No.
All right, I'll make one 30-second skit. It's gonna be dog water, but
That's fine.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that I like. Well, there's a couple of things I really want to do, and I kind of talked or revealed a little bit about it on like a New Year's video that I posted. Or
cool.
Like just like to anybody that cared to listen, I guess. But one of the big things I want to shift my content towards is doing more podcasting.
Yeah.
Like a lot more podcasting.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing that. I like talking to people. I like hearing people's stories. Like I was telling you, I think storytelling is like one of the most human things that we have, and you don't really get to know people until you sit down and talk with them for a couple hours. You can get to know somebody pretty well talking to them for a couple hours, a lot more so than just text messages or even watching their content online. Like most people don't really get to know you from like watching your content. Not really get to know you,
Yeah, especially if each piece of content is a minute long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like that's very difficult to really get to know like the nuts and bolts of somebody. And I really like talking to people. I like people. And I'm a very nuanced guy. Like a lot of the stuff that, and a lot of this is going to come after I'm retired as well, or out, or whatever it is. Because
Are
like,
you retiring this year?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, that'll be something we can talk about off as well. But like, there's a lot of things like expressing yourself and be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about, kind of stuff that I think is extremely important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that actually, no, that'd be pretty big when you get out. How much more freedom you'll have to talk about the stuff that you want to talk about.
It's like being a prisoner.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be probably an extremely freeing thing. Also, I've been slowly distancing myself, not entirely
From your wife?
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, definitely not from her. No, distancing myself from like, not distancing myself necessarily, but kind of like spending more energy and focus towards other stuff than the type of content that people know me for.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things I have interest in.
I think that's wise.
And there's a lot of things I want to do outside of just that. I don't want to be just known as that type of thing.
So from the beginning, I chose not to triple down on a video just because it went viral, because I never wanted to be known as that guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to be known as Reed Choi.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of, if you go back and watch like the different arcs that my content had, like you can never say I had one theme, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
So I think that's wise.
Yeah.
You want to diversify your identity so that you're not just known as a gamer or X, Y, and Z, but they know that you have a finger in a lot of pies, and what's the only thing? It's you.
Exactly.
So it's Kagan.
I think that's a lot more valuable, and
honestly, it's way more valuable because that means you're tested in every market.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'll be exposed to a lot more different types of people. Plus,
I just don't want to stream.
No. See, I don't mind streaming. I like it. I like talking.
That's good.
I enjoy it. Like,
that's good.
If
I don't.
See,
but if you like it, do it.
Another reason why it works for me is because while I'm streaming, I can record videos, and that's free content to post to my.
No, I understand.
I
understand. It's a great way.
A lot of people don't like to sit in front of a computer.
That's me.
And I get it. I get it. No. I honestly like.
I used to live stream every day.
Did you?
But I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I feel so exhausted after like 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, just because like the comments, you know what I mean? And I'm just like trying to answer things, and it's just not for me.
And that's fine. Like, because there's so many things you can do. That's just one facet of one thing that I want to be able to do. I want to be able to stream. Specifically, I want to be able to stream gaming content, stream games, record it, send it to the editors, like video game edited videos, post those on the gaming channel. Grow that.
You ever play Fire Emblem?
Yeah, I play Fire Emblem.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm playing right now.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I've been playing Arc Raiders mostly.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, he plays Arc Raiders.
I've been literally burning the midnight oil on the game. It's unbelievably fun. Before that, it was Helldivers. I was grinding Helldivers every day.
Well, my friend, I was talking to him a couple of days ago, was like, wants me to buy, what is it, an Xbox or a PS5 to play Arc Raiders?
You need to get a PC, really.
Oh, PC.
Yeah,
okay.
You need to get a PC and then download it on Steam.
Yeah, wanted me to get something so I can play Arc Raiders with him.
Yeah.
Know?
The Burnt Peanut, was that who invited you?
No.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Super famous streamer. He's been crushing it. He won an award for being like the best
gamer.
What's it called? The people that I can't remember the name of it. VTuber. He won this year's Game Awards Best VTuber or something like that, and everybody hated him for it because, well, not everybody. There's a bunch of drama. I think he's great. He's actually like a really entertaining dude, and there's a bunch of other VTubers that got mad because they pay. I think you have to pay like $10, $20, $30,000 for this avatar of you to be made that you can use on your streams, and it's like an avatar in stream instead of your actual personal body. It's kind of weird, in my opinion. It's not really my thing. Not really interested. If that's their cup of tea, cool. Like I'm all for you doing your thing, and if that makes you happy, cool. But it's just different. I like to stream like myself. It's like me in the camera. That way, it's like you're seeing me.
Would you ever go on the unsub?
Yeah, I mean, if they invited me on, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, if they invited me,
because it's super like wild.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's not what I think of when I think of unsub necessarily. I just think of like guys sitting around.
Well, like it's a little more unhinged.
Oh,
know what I
unhinged,
mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see people. I don't really. So here's my thing is I don't really spend a lot of time watching a lot of people's content anymore because I don't have
Well,
time.
same.
I just don't have time. The only podcast I
Really good dudes though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only podcast I really listen to anymore is Joe Rogan. Still, really, I just listen to him religiously every day. Been listening to him for like 6 years. And I've listened to some Jocko stuff. I've listened to some Sean Ryan.
You ever get into Tim Ferriss?
I don't think so. I know who Tim Ferriss is.
I'd
I've heard the
recommend
name
Tim
before.
Ferriss.
Who else? There's somebody else I listened to a while
Chris
back.
Williamson.
Oh no. Chris Williamson's great too. Yeah, I love Chris.
Life of CEO.
He does a really good job. I haven't ever listened to his podcast though. Never listened to him. Chris Williamson is very introspective, very deep thinker. I like his content for sure. And I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He's got some really solid opinions on a lot of things. But there's another person I was listening to. Oh, Theo Von. Theo Von. Yeah, I'll listen to him occasionally.
Yeah.
When I have time. But he's a super.
That guy's so funny. I saw him
dude's
live.
Character. Did you really?
Yeah, he was so funny.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's another person I've seen that like is plagued by stuff going on in his mind.
Yeah.
And
Well, he's a comedic savant.
He is for
Like
sure.
I've never seen anyone even close to his style of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like him being himself.
Yeah.
Not even pretending to. He's not pretending.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Pull up a leopard with Down syndrome.
Yeah,
You're
it's like
what?
Yeah, like
What are you talking? Where did that come from?
Where did that idea come
Yeah.
from? I sometimes wonder if he is in any way, shape, or form on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant.
Or he's just so low IQ that he just went right back the other way.
There's no way he's.
You know what I mean? He just went circled and then.
He just like did a 180.
Yeah.
He's great. I first found him on Joe Rogan. That's how I first found out about him. A lot of these comedians.
Shane Gillis.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Awesome. Funny as hell. Yeah, I love Shane. He's like I can't even remember a lot of his sayings. I'm not even gonna imitate him because people will just be like, "This is ridiculous. It's terrible impression." I'm not a good impressions, but he's awesome. He's really entertaining as well. There's a lot of guys that hang out with him are super entertaining, and they've been very wildly successful. They've had really good careers, and I got a lot of friends that are comics. I have a lot of friends that are very small comics too, that are just trying to get into it right now. It's a very tough industry to get
For a
into.
comic, it's 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, you got to put it in your 10
That's tough, man.
before you really make it.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And what are you doing for money in the meantime? Because you're not getting paid that much when you're doing the first couple years.
You know, you're doing whatever you can.
Yeah.
Uber, waiter.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, I imagine a lot of people out here that are trying to get into showbiz are trying to do that. Speaking of showbiz,
100%.
actually, and I'll tell you some more stuff. My dad was an actor
Oh,
in New York City.
Broadway.
Not on Broadway, but he was an actor up there. He also was an actor at the Folger Theater for a while.
Yeah.
He did a lot of shows there. He did mainly Shakespeare.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about that when we're after this. But I want to know more about like what you like got you to want to be an actor and like got you in all that whole thing.
It was really God. I
really?
Yeah, I randomly got an offer for a lead role on a short film that was straight to YouTube for a channel called Darman, right? And
What's it called?
Darman.
Darman?
Yeah, and it was the #1 video on YouTube that day. So
Really?
Yeah, it has like 40 million views, right?
Oh wow!
It just blew up. The first thing I ever acted in.
No kidding.
Blew up just like that. And then that opened a lot of doors, right?
Yeah.
And then I did my first movie last year, which is funny enough coming out this month.
Was that the one I saw the trailer for on your account recently? You posted like you were invited as a collaborator for it or something?
Could be. I don't know.
You were like in an apartment building, it looked like?
Oh, no. That was a trailer that I shot for Paramount for their movie Running Man.
Running Man.
With Glenn Powell.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're in that movie?
No. They just used... they basically took it was just a trailer for the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
They were just promoting it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But anyways, every project kind of led to another thing, right? And then did a TV show, and then got another movie lined up this year. But it was really just God like showing me the possibility, and then opening my eyes towards that direction, and then now I'm going all in.
Yeah. And what type of movies would you want to be in? Like, what type of acting do you want to do?
I would love to do like an anti-hero or something. I like a dramedy, like dramatic, but with like comedic moments.
Okay. What kind of what
like my
movie?
favorite movies are like, you ever watch Tombstone?
Yeah, I've seen Tombstone.
I love Tombstone. I love to play like a Doc Holliday.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
All
mean?
right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you like westerns
Yeah, I like westerns
in general?
Yeah.
You ever seen 3:10 to Yuma?
Yeah.
It's a good film.
Yeah, that's a great. Wow.
You ever see? Was it Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah, with Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yeah,
I haven't seen that. Is it good?
It wasn't bad. I would say. What was that movie? That was based off of that old western. Oh,
Hateful Eight.
Oh, Hateful Eight was
Magnificent
great.
Seven?
Hateful Eight was so good, dude.
Yeah.
I love Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah.
And I love especially the Western ones.
Yeah.
You know who's been really crushing it right now? What's the name of the guy?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Well, him too, but the guy that was the last surviving dude in the Hateful Eight was Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah. He was
on
on
the
White
bed.
Lotus.
He's the
with the forehead.
He's the ghoul
Yeah.
in Fallout.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What's his name? Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
Is it Walton or Walter?
Walton.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
It was Walton.
Walton Goggins.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big movie buff with
A little bit of a
certain things
cinephile.
like that. Yeah, I've always been a big movie buff. That one of the things that I did when I was stationed in Hawaii is I would literally go see movies every single weekend to get off base, just to go do something. I'll go see a movie. I would go to the Dole Cannery Stadium. And
I like that.
I went there so much. I had racked up so many points on, like at the time, like there was a point system. You could rack up a ton of points, and then eventually you could get like free popcorn and drinks and whatever, and free movies all the time. I was getting free movies all the time because I was going every weekend. Like any weekend I wasn't training or gone or something like that. And one of my buddies is actually in film school right now up in Chicago. And he, funny enough, and I don't want to like out him or anything. He was actually a scout sniper, and he's a good friend of mine. And me and him would go to movies
Legit.
all the time on the weekends, just because like we both love movies. Like he's in film school now. He got out and now he's in film school in Chicago, and he's gonna crush it. I'm super. We actually talked over New Year's, I think, right during New Year's or the day before New Year's or something. But we would go see movies all the time, even if it was just something small. Like, oh, that looks kind of good. Let's go check that out. Why not? Just because again, it goes back to storytelling. It's a story.
I used to do that with my buddy at Berkeley. We every Friday, we would just go to the movie theater after dinner. We would go to the movie theater, and so we watched a lot of movies together.
Yeah, I think it's good though, because there's so many good stories. Like a good movie I had never seen that I watched on the plane over here, that I watched part of it the last trip that I took, I think early December, and then I watched the rest of it because I couldn't finish it because we landed the last time. I missed the rest. But there's a movie called Weapons.
Thanos.
And it's very creepy. It's like
Weapons.
It's a really creepy. Yeah, I think it's called Weapons. Let me just verify. Yeah, it's a horror mystery. And there are some very terrifying scenes that were very well done, like spooky stuff. But
it's a murder mystery.
yeah, it's a horror mystery because there's like some horror stuff happening. Yeah,
There's like supernatural stuff.
supernatural stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and
When it
also
come out?
like random weird horror.
When did it come out?
I think it came out this past year. I remember because I follow him on Instagram too, because I just I'm a huge Josh Brolin fan in general, because I've just been watching his films for so long. I mean, hell, since the Goonies and stuff. But yeah, it came out in 2025, pretty new and very good, very very well done. He was promoting it, and I never got to see it, and finally did the other day. But so you're wanting to do some like anti-hero stuff. Is there any specific type of role outside of that you would want to play? You want to do like action movies?
Oh yeah, I'd love to do an action movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. Whatever God leads me to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have like an agent that's like putting stuff out for you?
Mhm.
Okay. How often do you go to a lot of like auditions?
A lot of it's self-taping.
Oh, self-taping, and you send self-submit and stuff? So
Exactly.
you're not doing it in person as much anymore?
Yeah, rarely.
Really?
Yeah.
That's changed a lot then, huh?
Yeah, probably 95% of all auditions are self-taped
Really?
or over Zoom.
Over Zoom would be so brutal.
Yeah, I've
You have
done,
to be,
I've
like,
done a couple
emotional?
of those.
Oh,
That sucked, man.
I can
Oh
only
my gosh,
imagine,
I hated
dude.
it.
How difficult would it be? Like, you're on the spot on a Zoom call, and I have to make this person feel like
Yeah,
emotional.
it's so awkward.
That's the most awkward thing I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, I hate it.
That's why the in-person thing, I think, is valuable for some of these things. I mean,
I like
or
self-taping because I can just do it
self-submission.
at home.
Yeah, self-submission's not bad either, because at the end of the day, like, if you're doing self-submission, it's just you and the camera. If you're
Yeah.
on a set, really, like, if you separate yourself from everything, it's just you and the camera too, almost, to a certain degree. But I don't know. I've never been an actor. I don't know the first thing about acting, so I guess I'm not the right person to be like making critiques or anything about it. But I still think it's fascinating. I actually wanted to be an actor when I was a kid, and I was in theater.
You should go for it.
Did theater? Well, I don't know about. I think it's probably too late for me to do it now. I'm like,
No,
almost
it's
40
never
years
too
old.
late. It's never too late.
We'll see. Maybe somebody will see this and be like, "Yo, maybe he has something." I don't know.
Christoph Waltz got his big break in his 40s.
He is another guy I would absolutely love to interview. He is one of the most dynamic people
Yeah.
ever. The dude speaks multiple languages. His role in Inglourious Bastards, and then even his role in Django afterwards, is some of the most incredible performing I've seen in a movie in the past like 20 years.
Yeah.
I can say that like confidently. It is pretty it's going to be hard to hold a candle to that,
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was absolutely like, this guy who's acting to be like this thing is that thing.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it. Because that's really what it comes down to, is like making people believe that you are that thing, that you are that creature or that character. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very difficult thing to do, because it's like these days people get it. It's like, okay, I'm watching a movie, act for me. You know what I mean? It's like, be even harder to be a comedian because you're like in front of people. It's like, all right, funny man, be funny. It's
yeah.
like, bro, I don't know how they do it, man. Honestly, I don't know. I got a lot of respect for it. That's a tough gig. Probably one of the oldest professions outside of like selling your flesh. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the oldest profession, if we're being honest. But like acting and entertainment and public entertainment, like being a comedian is like a super old profession.
And soldiery.
And soldiery. Yeah, soldiery is an old profession too, but that's like, it's changed so much though too.
No doubt.
It's just changed so much. We're not fighting with broadswords and stuff and bows and arrows anymore. But I think the one thing that has been pretty consistent for sure is the fact that entertainment is consistently very hard.
It's a specific type of person for sure.
Yeah, it definitely requires a certain personality. And what was your reasoning behind wanting to be an actor in the first place? I know you said that you're gonna do.
Because God blessed it from the beginning.
You believe that was something that he intended.
Like I had a lot of fun on set, right?
Yeah.
And then when it came out, it did like crazy well.
Yeah. And you believe that was God sending you a message that, hey, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Kind of like when I released my first Christian video and it did well. I was like, oh, okay, God's blessing it.
Gotcha. Outside of acting, what are some big goals, big time like goals that you have that you want to achieve? Like if you say you make it very successful as an actor eventually, which you will because you'll work hard at it. What do you want to do with that fame and the money that comes with it and everything?
Like I feel like my biggest purpose in life is to free 1 million slaves.
Free 1 million slaves?
Yeah, because like I don't know if you know, but there's more slaves today than at any other point in history.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
I'm tracking that too, by the way.
Okay, so you know.
100%. And a lot of them are in Africa and Asia.
A lot of them are here.
A lot of them are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's that's the true North Star for me. Gain influence to attack that problem.
Yeah. It is such a
I also like
systemic
to
issue.
sing.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you sing too?
Yeah, I do an annual concert.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where
There's
at?
always a benefit concert. Oh, it's a different venue every year.
Is it with like a certain organization?
It was a different organization every year, but this past year, it was for the International Justice Mission, their fight against child trafficking.
You know, what's the name of the guy that came out with the movie about that recently?
Sound of Freedom, right?
Sound of Freedom.
I know the
watched that
actor.
movie. I watched that movie at Ali Al Salim Air Base in Iraq, in Syria. Oh, sorry, not Syria. That's in Kuwait. Jesus, totally mixed that up.
When were
Ali
you in
Al Salim.
Kuwait?
It was in 2023 because
Okay.
I was literally getting ready to. I had a week left in country before I was exiting to come back to the United States, and that movie had just come out.
Powerful movie.
Like literally just came out. I stayed on Ali Al Salim for a couple days. This is in Kuwait. I stayed there for a couple days, and while I was there, that movie was playing in the theater. So I was like, well, this is a great opportunity. Let's go see a movie. I don't have anything else to do. So I went and saw the movie by myself.
Powerful movie.
Yeah. Real powerful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are fighting that fight, and oftentimes they get
There's a lot of people losing that fight right now.
there's a lot of people losing that fight right now too. And the people that are fighting that fight to try to stop it are getting a lot of pushback.
I mean, we're losing it right now. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
That is another thing that I find very disheartening, because that should be something that we're all on board with. Like, hey,
To me, there's nothing more important.
there's nothing that's more precious than children.
Yeah.
Like, we should all collectively as society be like, this is bad. We should stop doing that.
We should stop.
We should
Yeah.
probably
We should
stop
probably
doing
stop.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I got started doing this stuff too. Very different from your stuff, obviously. Different trajectories, different paths, different careers, different types of content, different interests in a lot of other things, but I want to use this to help people.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's to lead people to Christ.
I think,
I'm
and that's
so
I think
hungry.
that's an admirable thing.
Yeah.
I want to help people too in various ways. I want to be able to give away or raise hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for whatever charity that I feel passionate about that particular time, that I feel like needs it the most.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. And I learned that in 2022 when I first got started, because I saw how much. I'll give you a brief story that I've told this a couple times. I think I told Nick Freitas this story too, but in 2022, the Uvalde, Texas shooting happened, right? After that happened, there was a Facebook post that I randomly saw when I was scrolling of a Marine on the parade deck at San Diego, I believe it was, or Paris Island, one of the two. His parents were with him. One of the parents that was with him, his mother, was one of the school teachers that was shot and lost her life at that school. His father ended up passing away the same week from heart failure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That Marine was a reservist. He wasn't an active duty Marine, but he's still a Marine, right? Went to recruit training. He was a student at a university in Texas. And I saw that this Facebook post had a GoFundMe link to it. I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can find the GoFundMe. Found the GoFundMe. I was like, I need to do something. This is an opportunity for me to do something good to help somebody, because this kid just lost both of his parents in the same week, and it's not covered by anything. So I shared it to every major page that I knew, anybody that had a large following, anybody that had a large social media presence, mostly vets, mostly people that were affiliated with the military. And I watched that GoFundMe go up by multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars that day. It got shared by some accounts with 2 million plus Instagram followers, for example. And that defining moment for me was when I was like, I need to build my platforms up so that I'm big enough and have enough reach so that I can do this without asking anybody else for help. That was the big thing that got me started right there. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of twists and turns. We've done some other philanthropy events and endeavors that were philanthropic in nature throughout the course of the time. But that was the defining, that was the catalyst for me. And I never forget that. And I try to tell that story when I have the opportunity to remind myself not only to tell the story, but so I can remember, like, that's where you started. That's the reason you started in the first place. You need to make sure that you don't forget to get back to that. For me, I need to remind myself, right? Because like you can really do a lot of good with this stuff. There's a lot of negative stuff that goes along with it too. And it seems like this really polarizing sometimes because there's a lot of polarization with like belief systems and stuff. But at the end of the day, like the whole reason I started this stuff was so I could benefit other people or help people in some way. Specifically, like in the veteran community. You know, there's a lot of veteran related nonprofits that I try to do work with when I have the opportunity to, and I try to help. I try to help out whenever I can. But there's a lot of other stuff outside of veteran related like philanthropy organizations that I want to do work with too, like what you're talking about.
International Justice Mission.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Human trafficking is a real problem, and it's been a problem for all of human civilization. You know, and that kind of stuff pulls at my heartstrings probably more than most things do.
Because, as it should.
Yeah, as it should. Because it is there's nobody more helpless than a child.
No.
They don't have control over anything. And when adults are doing that, it is sickening. Yep. Genuinely. And that's why I believe there is such a thing as good and evil.
No doubt.
And I believe that God put a lot of people on this planet to fight back against that evil.
Yep.
I do. And I believe that he works through us to do things.
No doubt.
And I'm grateful that there are people out there that are using their abilities and their inherent character traits and the connections they have in their network to do these things. I think that's awesome that you do that every year. Well, either way, we'll get out of here and we'll go chat a little bit more because there's some other stuff I definitely want to talk to you about off air. But again, Reed, I appreciate you being willing to come do this on the spur of the moment. Like
anytime, brother. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, it was definitely cool getting to know a little bit more about your story. I know we didn't really delve into certain things, but that's totally fine. We'll have plenty of opportunities to get into a lot of these other stuff, but it definitely means a lot. I know that you've got a lot of stuff going on you could be doing instead of this, so I appreciate you taking the time to come here.
No, I appreciate it. So, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Let's do it again.
All right, we will.
All right.